Oh, man, what a week. What an absolute week. Incredible. Revealing. But as we always do here on a Friday with Big Sills. Big Sills! Absolutely, man. Welcome aboard. We appreciate everybody, as they always do. Come aboard with us here on this program from 2 to 6 Eastern Time. You guys have so many options out there, but you choose us. Many of you. Each and every single day come here, and we totally dig it. Man, I got to tell you, there's a lot of people that watch the program. And that's the majority of the NFL media and most notably the Philly media. If you tune on WIP, you would swear that those guys watch Big Sills and then regurgitate the same shit. I'm not saying I don't go to them because they have some pretty good people over there that cover that football team. See, the difference is, though, I recognize that. I don't have to. And by the way, I will tell you when something's not my content. I'm not afraid not to do that, Spike. You know? That's why you got your ass run out of New York. It's all right. Hey, at least I'm not afraid to go, hey, I got this topic from that afternoon psychiatrist that IP has. I don't really watch The Fanatic because it's unwatchable or unlistenable, I should say. 50 days out to training camp. 91 days until September 6th. It's funny, I say it here first, and there's a gigantic echo chamber in Philly. You know what I'm saying, senor. We say it here. It's like an echo chamber. How you doing? Okay? Echo chamber. There's no question. One of the big topics. Can I ask you something here before we get going? That number, 95%, I couldn't get away with it. And I couldn't put that 95% down, that the offense has changed. Can I ask you what version of Jalen Hurts you're going to get in 2024 with a brand new offense? Brand spanking new. What are you going to get? What are you expecting? Optimism? Okay, that's okay, and that's cool on June 7th. 95% of a brand new offense is being put in, which means the guy that you paid in 22 is so far removed from the equation any longer. I'm not sure what Jalen Hurts is going to look like this year. Are you? Yesterday, 95%, he said. 95%. It's all new. What are you expecting? But by the way, here on June 7th, I don't know. By the way, I see some people in here saying, as long as they win, they won last year. But they didn't win anything, really. They won 11 games. Okay, this close. And yet so far away. Big deal. Big deal. You have nothing to show for all this so far. Remember what I told you? In 2022, if you don't cash this roster in and what you have been doing the last couple years, I agree with Marcus Hayes. What's the point? What's the point? You're not cashing it in. I can't say about 24 right now on June 7th. You're 50 days to camp. We're here. We're here. Okay? We're going to be objective today. We're going to be objective. I'm going to give you my 3-day minicamp takeaway. Okay? Senor goes 31 teams do not cash in every year. Smart guy. Nobody's paying $175 million for an offense. Smart ass. Nobody. Shit, at least the Niners have been to 2 NFC title games in a row in the Super Bowl. What have you done? Implosion? And was 22 lucky? You haven't cashed anything in, and you're spending the most money. Hey, like he said, it's one thing to be the Carolina Panthers and not cash it in. Oh, by the way, Sue, Buffalo's not spending a ton of money like the Eagles are. They don't have any wide receivers on the team. You got two $50 million, $10 million running back. How much is that offensive line worth? 25, 15 or 30, 55, 10. You got about $85 million in your offensive line with money. $85 million in O-line, $50 million in wideouts, $15 million in a tight end, $50 million in a quarterback, and $10 million in a running back. What have you cashed in? What have you cashed in for that? Okay? That's right, Corey. Jalen Hurts wishes he was Josh Allen. Okay? He wishes he was Josh Allen or had that type of talent. No question about it. I mean, what version of Hurts are we going to get in 24? So get this, the money that you paid, I want to put this, in proper perspective too. By the way, I'm not talking about cap. I'm talking about the owner writing a paycheck for people. And are you getting your return on investment? Are you getting your return on investment? No. That where I will agree with Senor. Hey, that could be easy. That could be easy. Analytically speaking, newsflash, Howie, higher probability if winning the Super Bowl if you let Jalen play to his strengths. Making him start from ground zero. Doing this, he's not good at it, extremely low. Hey, dual threat. That's the take of the day already, and we're only into it a couple minutes. Thank you, Papa. I appreciate that. I'm not a Hurts fan, talent-wise, but did you see his face when asked to define Nick's role? New name for coach, Pinocchio Sirianni. He's a liar and clown. Papa Joe, I've been saying that for 3 years. Guy's not qualified to be a head football coach. He's just not qualified. Why do you think they hired a babysitter for him? So Big Dom doesn't get thrown off the sidelines. Crazy stuff went on this week. Jalen Hurts had a moment to embrace his coach. Now we're spending too much money. We should make players wait like Dallas, huh? Jesus criminy, guy. I mean, honestly, who wants to be compared to Dallas? I'm comparing you to the Chiefs and the Eagle and the Brady Patriots. Why would you ever in a million years compare yourself to Dallas? Act like a champion, guy, not the Cowboys. Who in the world wants to compare themselves to the biggest underachieving football team on the planet? Who would do that? Who? I don't compare myself to anything below average. That's below average. I mean, Dallas? I got my sights set on something higher than the Cowboys. Okay? So get this. Can I ask one more time the question I asked you yesterday? When given the opportunity to defend Nick Sirianni, why hasn't Hurts done it? Why? And here, I it's not really a main topic, But are you more concerned about Hurts and Nick, or Nick and Kellen, Kellen Moore? Nick, not a weird case. Why is he around? Prince, for the life of me, I'm not, I don't, hey, Prince, think about this. There's two things that come out of camp. Why is Nick Sirianni around? And why is James Bradbury around? Why are those two men around still? What is the point? What's going on? Do you think a coach who had any kind of autonomy over his roster and over his coaching staff would have Bradbury still on the roster? Or do you think any general manager that didn't have a gargantuan ego like Howie would have Nick around? The ego and not wanting, and the perception not wanting to look bad is more important to that organization than doing the right thing. Right? It's more important for them to look good than to be good. Who's comparing? That's not just of what I said. That must be the Miami education. How you doing? Marshall, we're boys. Love it. McCarthy's the best coach since Parcells? Yes. Yes. And true. Yes. As a matter of fact, DFW, I think Bill Parcells is highly one of the most overrated coaches in Hall of Fame history. I mean, Tom Coughlin did just as much, if not more. And Tom Coughlin was the offensive play calling head coach. What did Parcells do more than Coughlin? What did he do? What has Bill Parcells done that Tom Coughlin hasn't done? Name me. And Tom Coughlin didn't need Bill Belichick. Name me one thing. Name me one thing. Once again, JM, you're missing it. Between the two, what has Parcells done over Coughlin? 2 Super Bowls. Has a better winning percentage. Built a brand new franchise in the Jags into a playoff contender. And won those Super Bowls in New York. Parcells is overrated. I can name you 10, 15 coaches. Why? Because he was good behind the mic. And he was good to the media. And he gave the media a good show every time he got in front of the mic. Parcells is excellent at that. But as a total coach, he was a train wreck in Miami. And he took the job because his wife took half his money after a divorce. It's the only reason he went to football operations. The Jets thing was okay. Not spectacular. Patriots wasn't bad. But Belichick was there when he went to the Super Bowl. Okay? Hey, Sills, here's a different take. Philly's putting a system in place for all of the tools needs. If Hurts does not cut it, they will move on. Howie has several off-ramps in that contract. Well, that would be a colossal disaster for Roseman, because that would have meant that they missed on Wentz and then they missed on Hurts. It's one thing to miss on Wentz. It's another thing that you gave a second rounder $250 million. And what you did was you dressed up a pig if this doesn't work. He was drafted for what he was supposed to be. But the Eagles have dressed it up with great talent. You don't really know how good he is until some of those pieces are taken from him. Like you guys say, we're going to find out more about Josh Allen. I agree with that. 100%. We're going to find out a lot about Josh Allen this year. We are going to. Yes, I agree. Yes. You take some weapons away, will that team still be a 12-13 win team? If you took any component off that Eagle team, Hurts will win 8 games this year. Now, let me ask you. Let me go back to this. You got 50 days to training camp. Are you more concerned with Nick's and Jalen's relationship or Nick and Kellen Moore's relationship? How can you be high on the Eagles when that dynamic is still in the room? How can you be that high on that? That's like having a really fast race car and the worst driver in the field. How can you be and have optimism when you have the worst driver in the field? And this all circles around the head coach. Nick is friends with everyone. I don't want my coach to be friends with everyone. I've never been in a position where coaches were friends that won. Coaches are hard asses. Hey, I love my coach. But I'll tell you what, he cut me too. Can we blame Hurts? Hey, Xander, can we get that super chat up? I missed it. If we can, please, I want to get that super chat up. By the way, all super chats go to the top. Guys, we're trying to get to 200 likes. I appreciate it. So, Xander, when we get to that, or if you can, my friend, Xander might be busy. If you can repost it, I'll read it just to make sure that we get that there, because I want to make sure that we get that super chat, and I missed that super chat there. Oh, here we go. I can do it. Can we blame Hurts with 4 different systems in 5 years? Brady and Mahomes helped Purdy have the same system. Don't we have to look at that? Absolutely, my friend. Thank you, Xander. Don't we have to? Absolutely. You'll never get it, though, my friend. You're never going to get it. Swansky, you're never going to get it. He's had 5 coordinators in 4 years of starting going into this year. You're never going to get consistency at that coordinator position. Not until you hire a play calling head coach. You know who said this? Chris Long said this last year. He's right. He's right. You're getting another version of Hurts this year. Okay? I read it, Bob. I got it. You're right. Nick and Kellen's relationship will determine 24. How many OCs do we have to hire for Nick, who thinks he can run an offense? A car doesn't have 2 steering wheels. It surely does in a car. Relative. There were supposed to be 2 major intangibles that make Hurts valuable. Leadership, worried about that at this point. And coachability. This year with Moore, we'll certainly tell if that holds. You know what, too, relative? Dude, I'm going to say it one more time to you. That's right. Hurts 3.0. This is another version of Jalen. 95% of the offense is changed, which means this. Everything he's done in the last 3 years has pretty much been put aside or has been, get this, has been gobbled up by the new offense. Is that new terminology too? Everything they've done in the last 3 years with him is out the window. Everything. So what version are you getting? By the way, this is a question I don't know. I don't know, and I can't sit here and go, he'll never do it. But if you're going to try to make him a passer and not the guy you have in 22, Xander Krause said it the other day, and he's right. Why are you changing everything from what he was into being something he's not? Why are you doing that? What is the end game? They really think they can make him into like some sort of running 4,500 yard passing quarter. You can't. He's not that talented. The 22 version will get you to the Super Bowl. I don't get it. Eagle fans think AJ and Devontae are better than CD, and their O-line and run game are better than the Cowboys. Why did Dallas have a better offense? Better play caller. Better play caller. Tony Pollard is an underrated player. Their O-line, hey, 304, if you don't think you losing that center and Tyron Smith is a deal, look, I like the kid from K-State too. I think he's going to be an impact on your team. I totally do. But I don't know where you're going to get the balance in your offense from. And it ain't Ezekiel Elliott, and you got to get to the 20. What are you going to do from 20 to 20? Who's carrying the football? What kind of O-line do you have? You've got a better play call. Get this. Here's something, 304, that I will agree with. Mike McCarthy is a superior play caller to Kellen Moore. That's a fact. There is no getting around that. He's a better coach. He's a better OC. His offenses have proven that. And I agree with that. Mike McCarthy, okay, once again, Kellen Moore's been fired from his last 2 jobs. Okay? So just go here with this. All right. Let's get to here. Let's go to my takeaways from Nick Sirianni's mandatory minicamp. This is an overview. Have you changed your mind on Sirianni being out no matter what? Like I keep telling you. I don't know that yet. You forgot to add Dak being better than Hurts. Better passer. Oh, by the way, 304. This version of Jalen Hurts is better. It's not better than Dak. He's not. Because both had the same performances in the postseason, and Dak had a better year last year. Jalen Hurts did nothing better than Dak Prescott last year. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And so the tie goes to the guy who won the division. He won the division last year. And he had a better passing season. Pretty much statistically across the board. And you can sit here, but you have no debate on that. You can't name one thing he did better. And rushing touchdowns don't matter in today's NFL passing. Quarterbacks in today's NFL don't win Super Bowls as running quarterbacks. They run when they have to, like Mahomes did in the Super Bowl in the 5th quarter. Those are facts. He had a better year a year ago, Dak Prescott. The year previous, Jalen had the better year. I mean, and if you want to go the last 4 years, I mean, pretty much out of 1 year, he had that one high turnover season. He's outplayed him from the pocket by far. He's a better pocket passer. He's a better pocket quarterback. Again, the postseason and all that, it matters. So by that take, Lamar's a bum. Lamar's never going to win a championship. Unless they coach him correctly. 37 passes, not going to cut it. 28 passes, and Derrick Henry going crazy, they'll win it. Let's see, again, if Todd Monken can control himself in an AFC title game. You're not going to beat Pat Mahomes throwing the ball against Pat Mahomes because he's going to beat you every night. You're not going to out Pat Mahomes. There's only one guy in this league that I think can out Pat Mahomes. That's the guy in Cincinnati. Only one guy, and it's him. So John Harbaugh's not a good coach. not doing much with his young two-time MVP in the NFL. Well, once again, he's losing to Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow in playoffs. You're losing to Baker Mayfield. And he's playing in a conference filled with legendary future. This is one of the best young eras I've ever seen for quarterbacks, and they're all in the AFC. They're not in the NFC. Who's the top quarterback in the NFC? Stafford? Dak? Who? Hurts? Go over to the AFC. It's sun and the moon conversation. It's not even close. You would not draft one quarterback from the NFC over the top 5 guys. Would you take him over Stroud? Would you take him over Burrow? Would you take him over Mahomes? Would you take him over Allen? Anybody with common sense would go, by the time you got to the top quarterback in the NFC, it'd be down at 6 or 7. I mean, Lamar. Is there anybody in the NFC that you would take over Lamar Jackson? No. Jalen or Jordan Love? I'll build my team around Jordan Love. He's got better skill set to pass the ball. How about this? You put Jordan Love in the Philly offense. What do you think that would look like? What do you think that would look like? All right, let's move on and go to the takeaways. I don't want to go down that road again. It bores me now. It bores me. Okay. So, replacing Fletcher Cox and Jason Kelce is going to be a bigger deal than I think. I think this is going to be a bigger issue. You don't have leadership on that team right now. I don't see it. I don't see it. Who? A.J. Owens? Who? Hurts? Yet had a chance for leadership this week. Didn't display it. Could have brought the team together, coach and roster. Couldn't do it. Or he didn't want to do it. I don't know. It's going to be pretty interesting to see who becomes the leader. Gardner Johnson? Maybe. Maybe. Brandon Graham? Can he lead from the second or third team? Probably a little bit. He's built a ton of equity up. He could probably say something. But once again, there was a guy that was in the room a year ago, didn't say nothing. Brandon Graham? Where was he a year ago, Rhonda? Quiet as a church mouse. Now he's barking over here telling us how shitty the coaching was last year. Thanks for telling us 6 months after the fact. Where were you in the middle of the season? Or are you not allowed to open your pie hole there because of Bob Lang and that PR department? Probably more the latter. I think that's going to be a glaring issue. Will the Eagles allow anybody to develop as a leader? Okay, will they? There you go, Anthony. I like that. I like that. Yes. Hey, Anthony, I'll tell you somebody else who's starting to show a little bit more. I'm starting to like Mulata's commenting on people. I am. I'm starting to like Mulata being more vocal. I think that's coming with his play and with his confidence that he's one of the best left tackles in the sport. I think that's coming with that. And I agree with you, Spin. I think Lane may be asked to do more vocally this year. You know, he's not a verbose dude. He's not going to start barking shit. That's not, at least from my observation, that's not who that guy is. But they may need a little of that. They may need that a little bit. Please, guys, hit the like button. Okay? Hey, Sills, let me finish here. I'll tell you something that I'm going to say something here. I heard Devin White talking about his mistakes that he made in Tampa. Did you see this, Xander? Did you guys see this? He talked about his mistakes and letting the football side of it diminish the love of the game. And he said he allowed it to get in the way, and the Bucs accused him of quitting on him. And he did quit on him. All the people I know in that organization said he quit on them. And he even admitted it, that he allowed the game. You're right, Prince. And he's admitted it. He allowed the game to get to him and not make the game fun for him. Him working on that contract. So I'll say this to you. You know what I would like to see Vic Fangio try to do a little bit more of? Hey, Prince, how about this? I'd like to see Vic Fangio, if you're going to need, thank you, Maniac. If you're going to need pressure, you know what I would say? Turn Devin White loose. Turn Devin White loose. Let him blitz from the linebacker position. Or come up with schemes like Jim Johnson did for Hugh Douglas. And let him and utilize his skill set. I think Vic's going to do a good job of that. White was graded in the last 4 years, JM, as one of the worst cover linebackers in pro football. That's not true. That's why the Buccaneers go out of their way to take shots at him. I say this, Prince, let him, okay, JM says false. Look it up, dude. It's there for you to look at too. Go look at what Pro Football Focus's cover ratios and ratings are for him. Zach Cunningham had a better year. He was top 3 in his Pro Bowl season 4 years ago. Congratulations to you, kid. Trotter Jr. was very good in coverage, but he's a 5th-round rookie. And I wouldn't look at the round that he's in. He's not very fast. Force, he ran a 4.8. 4.8 for linebacker is not going to be able to cover it in the National Football League. He's a special teams guy as of right now. Okay? Okay. So, come up with a way to create pressure using him. Moore has to be smarter in his motion. Because Jalen's not a great pocket quarterback. Help him. Move AJ into the slot. Motion more. Move the defense around. He can't. He's not, at this time in his career, capable of doing that. Young quarterback, that's not uncommon. Montana couldn't do it early in his career. They had to move Montana around. They rolled him right. I told you. They allowed him to do and manage only half the field for the first 6 years of his career. Who the hell is Jalen Hurts compared to Joe Montana? Okay, I mean, who's Jalen Hurts? Still true. Or if they pay the OC and or DC at head coach type levels, akin to Dallas when the triplets and you were there, that's how they kept DCs there until they finally the Bears got them. Correct. That's right, James. That's exactly correct. I mean, you end up paying those coordinators. Look at what they're doing with Spagnuolo, James, in Kansas City. They're paying them head coaching money. You want to hear something, James? Thanks, James, for that. That's cool. Hey, James, they're paying Steve Spagnuolo more money than Nick Sirianni makes. How's that for you? He makes more money than Nick Sirianni as head coach. That's why Spagnuolo doesn't have to go anywhere. He's a 4-time Super Bowl champion. I mean, can you imagine? You're not only getting the greatest coaching offensively from the head coach and Andy Reid, but you get to see quality defensive guys challenging you at every single practice, Monday through Saturday. What an education Patrick Mahomes is getting every single day. Patrick Mahomes is being made a better ball player every day because of the coordinator that's in the building on both sides of the football. Invaluable. Last year, you dicked around with Brian Johnson and Sean Desai. How much development do you think Hurts got during the year in his own yard at NovaCare with that bullshit compared to what Mahomes did? Mahomes grew. Jalen regressed because of the people around him. And you had all that talent, and it didn't matter. You see the difference? Coaching matters in the NFL. Talent matters in college. You don't have to be a spectacular head coach in college. You have to be a great recruiter. In the NFL, you have to be a great coach. Why don't the Birds steal plays from the Niners? Mad Bird, I think everyone steals that. I think everyone takes snippets of everybody's. Andy Reid said that numerous times that he does that. If he sees a play somewhere that somebody else is running, it's a copycat league. Okay, it's a copycat league. So they'll do variations of it. I mean, I know Belichick stole a lot of stuff from Saban when it came to moving players around. It was a wasted year. You wasted Jalen Hurts' development. You stunted it a year ago. Some of the other quarterbacks in the league Baker Mayfield got better. Hurts got worse. Baker Mayfield got better because of coaching. He was around better coaches. And if I'm not mistaken, wasn't the offensive coordinator in in Tampa? Isn't he now the Kalalis or whatever his name is? Isn't he a new head coach now in Carolina? So Baker Mayfield had Bruce Arians in the building, Todd Bowles in the building, and you had the head coach of Carolina Panthers in the building. No wonder Mayfield got a 3-year, $100 million deal. I mean, you shouldn't blame Brian Johnson for that shit, maniac. Blame Howie. Everybody, again, the two most protected people by the fan base and by the media in Philly is Jalen Hurts and Howie Roseman. I've never seen anything like it. Howie lit the place on fire, put it out. Now he's building it back up, and you want to give him credit and kudos and throw flowers at him for that. You fucked it up in the first place, guy. You were coming off a Super Bowl. And then you decided to light the building on fire. Look at Jay. Baker's garbage. He beat the shit out of your team. I mean, dude, this is about defending the Eagles, not Jalen Hurts. I could care less about him. Wasn't Dave Wanstead similarly all paid one of the highest coaches when he was in Dallas? Pretty sure has some Spags treatment. Nope, James, Jimmy Johnson on this program. James, when Jimmy brought that entire coaching staff from Miami to Dallas, who won 3 Super Bowls, they were the lowest paid coaches in the league. You know why? Jimmy goes, I'll replace your asses. The only coach that he cared about was Tony Weiss, the O-line coach. The rest of them are replaceable. They were the lowest paid coach. These are friends of his for 20 years. Okay? Told them all. But James, when they went to the Super Bowl and won it, he rewarded them. Jimmy makes you hungry. JM, Hurts will never be an MVP from the pocket, ever. Ever. Hurts, 22, is an MVP. That's 2 years ago now. Who is on the Howie knee pads more, Nick or the Philly media? Also, mark my words now, Big Sills. Kellen Moore will be the head coach after Nick is fired by week 7. We'll see. Here's another Big Sills takeaway. Are you sure Kenny Pickett is your backup? Are you comfortable with that? You all right? I'm all right with that, I think. Are you comfortable with it? Supposedly, Tyler McKee had a pretty good camp, pretty good 6 weeks. Coaches like him. Coaches like him. We've seen him in the pocket. Once again, Jason, what a stupid, uneducated observation. The reason he was good in the pocket in 22 is because he had 800 yards rushing and almost 200 carries. They're taking that away completely. He will never win one-dimensionally. He's not that good. Dual threat, he's a weapon. I'm not going to say it again. If you take Hurts' legs away, is he good enough to win you a Super Bowl? Ask yourself that. Ask yourself that. He's not. Here's something that I learned yesterday. Do not be shocked if Isaiah Rodgers is a starting corner on the other side of Slay early on. They really like the player. People are raving about him. They're talking up the young kids because they want to talk up the young kids. And the young kids performed well. Not saying they didn't. But they may be playing him, and he may earn a starting position at cornerback number 2. Okay? So that's a good sign. By the way, we're going to move Xander up in the rotation. He'll be there at the top of the 3 o'clock hour. Philly Godfather, 5:32. We'll hit him up. We said that. You said Isaiah who? One thing, Prince, until you prove yourself, you're meat. Stop doing that because you told me that Kobe Dean was going to be a superstar. So don't go there. I'm a prove it dude, not a hope dude. Like you and Nolan Smith. You still married to him, Prince? Prince, you still married to Nolan Smith? Yeah, go die on that vine. Here's something else that came out of camp. Is there a role for Will Shipley? Will Shipley caught the ball well, and the more from week 1 to the 6th week, people in the building kept saying he kept improving. Could there be a role for him? And this guy ended up taking snaps away from Kenny Gainwell. Okay, I mean, now again, we'll see how this plays out in the exhibition season and what they're going to do in the exhibition season and some of these controlled scrimmages, but also how they're going to implement him into the offense. And once again, it's all going to come down to the quarterback being able to utilize all these skill set people. I don't think he can. I don't think he has that aptitude to be able to spread the ball around to everybody in that huddle. I just do not. He couldn't do it a year ago. I never mentioned Dean or Smith. Nice try. Okay, great. Not you, of course. I'm sure you were a gigantic Jalen Hurts fan when they drafted him too. Micaiah Becton, guy's a player. Micaiah Becton looks like a player. Rodgers was rated a top 5 cornerback a season. When was this? He played sparingly when he was in Indianapolis. He showed signs of it. He was more special teams in Indy. Where are you getting that from? I like this guy, Mekhi Becton, and he wants to be a Philadelphia Eagle, and he wants it to be a long-term deal. He feels comfortable on that left side, but that thing's covered. So to me, you put him on that right guard spot. Let him play there. God, the money you can make if you're Mekhi Becton playing right guard. Can you imagine this? Playing right guard. Look at what Landon just signed for $20 million. You're in that Philadelphia Eagle offensive line and you're being coached by Jeff Stoutland, and you have the ability to be able to get extended. If you want to get a contract extension, you play right guard. They put him at right guard at 6'7", 6'7", 6'6", 6'6", 6'6", or 6'8". Across the top, wow. You guys, you got arguably one of the biggest offensive lines I've ever seen. Zach Bond looks like he is one of the starters inside. And Nakobe Dean has been relegated to second team. That's a good thing. I think they're moving on from him. This is the first sign that they're moving on from him. I think that Bond is the starter. And I think he's the solidified starter. There's not going to be, and get this, here's another check mark at linebacker for Howie. You didn't go after anybody in free agency, really, and you can't draft him. This will be the second, third round linebacker. If this guy gets whacked, that would have been cut in the last 5 years in Philly that Howie drafted. It's time to put that away, guy. You're not good at it. Do you think wide receiver 3 is currently on the roster? Great question, Jameson. Yeah, I do, Jameson. I do. I do think he is. I like the kid Smith, man. Play him. Play some of these young guys, especially in that 3-hole. Especially in that 3-hole, man. Get it. Dude, you got to get more production out of that. Hunter Renfrow at wide receiver 3. I like that, man. Hey, Mark, he's available too. I like that. Having him at wide out 3. I'd rather, get this. Hey, Mark, I'd rather have Hunter Renfrow at wide receiver 3 than Odell Beckham Jr. How about this one? Nick Sirianni's the biggest question. He's the biggest question in this offseason and going into the upcoming year. I think he's a bigger question than a quarterback. He's just a bigger question. I have more faith in Jalen Hurts than Nick Sirianni. But can you imagine this? How many times do you have to do this? Oh, my God, I hope the football team doesn't get sabotaged again by the head coach. Weren't we saying this about Brandon Staley? That's who he reminds me of. He reminds me of Brandon Staley now. You're like, the guy's a buffoon. Going for it on 4th down with a minute left in the ball game and you got the lead and you're going for it on 4th down? What's wrong with you? This guy's like Brandon Staley. I mean, and of course, you turn around and you go like this. Okay, so it's June 7th. And I'll ask the question one more time. Jalen Hurts, brand new offense. And on the 6th of June, he really said he doesn't know what he's doing yet. Are you concerned with that? And they haven't even put the offensive running game in. They haven't even put all the playbook in. And he doesn't know what he's doing. And this is the passing game that you guys say he's so great at. Are you concerned when a guy who has half the playbook It's a passing camp. See, John McMullen, who was on with Xander on Birds 365. Hey, they really haven't even put all the. That's right. Half the playbooks in, you got a quarterback saying, I'll let you know when I figure it out, because right now, do you like the offense? I'm not sure. They haven't even put the offense in, all of it. They haven't even started hitting yet, and he doesn't know what he's doing. He's got 50 days to camp. You're a month and 3 weeks out from training camp, and he don't know what he's doing. In the passing game, what's the run game going to look like? Kellen Moore's not known for being a running head coach. Are you going to have a lot? Are you going to? One thing I agree with John on. Hey, the O-line is the strength of the team, not the receivers. The strength of the team is the O-line. Thank you, James. It's awesome. Not sure if you saw Shady and even Brady had problems first in Tampa, reverting to verbiage from New England, even in camp, until Arians adjusted 60%. That's the same plays with different language. It's harder with new plays. That's James. I brought this up yesterday. One of the things, James, that made that Super Bowl run that Brady, remember they were 7-5, I said. And Arians, there was a lot of turnovers earlier in the season when they were having all those turnovers. If you remember right, they had all those turnovers. And what happened? Brady went in and he said, we got to start going to checkdowns. And without a doubt, what did they do? They went to checkdowns. They went to Leonard Fournette more. They threw more to the tight end. They took a little bit of what Arians had, and then they did more of what they did in New England, and they went on to win a Super Bowl. Okay? Slager goes, whoever on 365 said this morning that they were trying stuff to see if Hurts liked and what he didn't like. Jalen Hurts said out of his mouth the entire offense is 95% new. That's not what that quarterback said. So some guy having an opinion on it is one thing. The quarterback saying when asked, what do you make of the new offense? Well, 95% of it's new. Who are you believing? Hey, dude, no disrespect to anybody, but I don't give a shit what a scribe says when a quarterback comes out and says the 95% of the offense is new. The quarterback said that. They're trying things out new? No shit. It's a new offense. The QB said it. I mean, the QB said it. They're not going back to running Nick's offense or having anything to do with Nick's offense. The quarterback said it. Take the word of the QB and not a scribe. You kidding me? Right. Holy cow. You got to be kidding me. So Jalen Hurts is lying. So Jalen Hurts is lying that it's a brand new offense. There's all kinds of stories now coming out that 95% is new. But they're trying new shit. No shit. The QB said it's a new O. Gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. Holy Maron. What did you guys take away from this week? Let's do this here. Let's do this. Quarterback hates the coach, doesn't trust him. He doesn't know if he likes the offense yet. The defensive coaches are connecting with their guys. Thank you, Miami Dolphin dudes. guys did a great job for Vic, made his job easier. That thing looks pretty good over there. I think Vic outcoached Kellen Moore the entire 6 weeks. Coached the pants off the guy. Got his guys in a better position to succeed. Evaluated. Dude, I'll tell you this. There's more of a. How in the world can you struggle in offensive passing camp? Because the quarterback can't get it done? Wait till they haven't even put the offense in, all of it, with the run game. Hey man, I'm not gonna sit here and dissect what a quarterback says when asked questions. Hey Nick, how about this one, guys? Hey JM, defend this. Hey Jalen, what's Nick Sirianni's role? I really don't know. I can't answer that. What do you make of that, dude? What do you make of that? This whole week, put it in a nutshell. What'd you learn? Get this. Oh, it's good to see LJ because isn't it great to see that a quarterback can't stand Nick Sirianni? His guy hates him. Even the IP guys are starting to get on it now. Hates him. That's his boy. The quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles won't support or validate the OC or the head coach. 2 things I take away from Jalen this week. He's not sure about the OC, and he's surely not sure about the coach. Didn't you take that away? He was asked explicitly, what's your takes on the offense? Too early to tell yet. What's Nick's role? I don't know. Those were direct comments from your QB this week. Were they not? Yes to Nick. Prince, he said he doesn't know if he likes the offense yet. I listened to it again. Hey, get this, like this guy says. You could be sitting in a tree house, or you could be sitting in a bird's house. You could be sitting in an outhouse. All you got to do is listen to the quarterback say, I don't like the coach, and I don't know if I like the offense. What's Nick's role? I don't know. If you don't think that this is a massive problem that resonated and reared its head in 23, it has not been eradicated in 24. It's the same disease that's in your locker room, and it will infect it again because it's still in it, no matter how good you are, no matter how good your roster is. The cancer's still in the locker room. And the quarterback's telling you it. I don't care if you have the greatest roster on the planet. If you have something inside of a locker room, like Terrell Owens, a disgruntled player, an incompetent coach, an incompetent quarterback, in key positions, no matter how good you are, it will implode. That's why the Eagle front office panicked. See, they're caught in a tough place. I like that headline. Xander, did you see that headline Inquirer had that Nick's in a pretty tough position right now because the quarterback's not supporting him? Isn't that something? $50 million a year, $250 million quarterback doesn't support LJ's coach. Even the Inquirer now is jumping on that. You're welcome. Even they're seeing it. And you got 50 days until training camp. And the quarterback is saying, I'm not sure what we're doing yet, but we'll get there. Okay? Right? That was my takeaway. Hey, by the way, on a good note, as I said to you, holy shit, great on the defense. More encouraged about that side of the ball. Absolutely. I'm not encouraged at all about Nolan Smith. The Kobe Dean's a waste of time. And Bradbury on the roster is a waste of time. Bradbury's a waste of time. I have no idea what they're doing with that. None. Nolan Smith is a waste of time right now. So, but the communication looks good in the secondary. And you know what's really cool to watch that I'm liking here is that everyone's enjoying themselves communicating and picking up the defense, and they like the way that they're being coached. All the things that the people in Miami were saying, as a matter of fact, I sent the message to Armando Salguero, who covers the Miami Dolphins for Outkick and is a Hall of Fame voter. And I said this, you want to know why you guys are soft down there in Miami? Is because that coach runs a soft environment. They're not a very tough-minded team. They don't practice toughness. Dude, you have to practice toughness. Man, if you're not in a fist fight every day, scraping and crawling and doing everything you can to win a game, and you're just going about your business being a finesse team, you will get your faces kicked in. They don't fight for anything in Miami. They just think they're good because they're Tyreek Hill. Okay? Hey, once again, you see people like LJ getting mad at me for quarterback's comments. I didn't say these things. This guy's just got an ass for me on my takes. That's too bad, dog. It's really too bad you feel that way. You got a lot of people I wouldn't say a lot. You got about 2 or 3 people or what have you in Philadelphia that go after messengers instead of going after organizations. Stop blowing Jalen and Howie. This is about the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. It's not about winning 11 games or winning the East even. This is about championship talk. What do you think I'm talking about? Going to the Sun Bowl? Ten and 1. You know, every time I knew there were some people in here that subscribed to mediocrity or half stories or half truths. Got to tell the whole story. It's like part of our country. They like to hear half the bullshit and all the good shit. Want to hear what made us great. All right. Moving our boy up in the rotation here. So Mariano's got to come in instead of in the 9th inning. Mariano Rivera's got to come in the 8th inning here. And we got to bring our boy who's doing a spectacular 65. And it is Andrew Krause. How you doing, brother?
What's up, Big Sills? How you doing, man? Happy Friday to you. Happy good mini camp week for Big Sills on the National Football Show.
Hey, man, I'll tell you what, a lot of content this week.
Tons of content this week. This was a Big Sills week for minicamp. Good stuff on Birds 365, too. A lot of good content all over the network this week, all over Philadelphia. Good to see everybody in the chat. We dropped out for a second there, Sills. I don't know what happened on YouTube, but we dropped out, so we're back.
Good, okay.
People are ripping me. I'm like, come on, man. I don't control YouTube. I'm just trying to punch the keys here.
I know who it is. It's BL, but it's okay. Don't worry about it. We'll work around.
It's Howie.
Hey, I'll tell you what, man. One thing I really got to say to everybody in the in the Philadelphia market, you're welcome on our content from both shows. You guys are all welcome. Hey, IP, you're welcome. Jesus criminy. We say it here. It gets regurgitated over the next 2 days. Why is Bradbury on the team? Does anyone know? Hey, wait a minute. Jalen didn't do his coach any. Okay, you're welcome. Anyway, I want to throw that number at you first here before we go into some of the takeaways from this week in camp. 95% means what to you after you're listening to it 24 hours after Jalen Hurts said it? What's your now takeaway with a brand new offense that he's going through for another year?
From an offensive perspective, I think it's a good thing, because one of the problems we talked about before this comment was meshing of two offenses, Kellen and Nick. How is that going to work? Who's the leader of the offense per se? We now know that answer. It's not Nick Sirianni. Nick Sirianni is the head coach. This is Kellen Moore's offense. And from a football perspective, I think that's better. I don't like the idea of Kellen and Nick both contributing to the offense. If Kellen's your guy, if he's your offensive coordinator, bring him in and let him call the offense. So I like it from that perspective. The other takeaway I have on it is, and it's really a takeaway from the whole week, actually, but this is one of my biggest takeaways from the whole week. The pressure in the Philadelphia Eagles locker room is about to burst like a pipe, or it's going to work. It's one or the other. But the quarterback does not feel the pressure like the head coach feels. That 95% comment is like there's going to be problems on the offense. Give us a little bit of time. He probably saw everybody talking about how bad the offense has been. He's like, whoa, 95% new offense. We're still learning out here. We're not going to look great. Meanwhile, Nick Sirianni is like, boy, this better work. But Jalen doesn't feel that because Jalen's not going anywhere. And that's kind of where I think the disconnect is with the two guys of Jalen is comfortable in his chair. He knows he's not going anywhere. And I don't know how much he loves Nick. Now,
How about this?
Maybe I think he likes Nick more than we're giving him credit for. But I don't know if he cares if Nick Sirianni.
I don't think liking him has anything to do with it. How about this?
Respecting him.
Respecting him. I don't think he does that as a coach. I think he likes him. But here, now what you're getting too, and this is why I think Nick is going to be on the hot seat here a little bit more, is because, get this, dude, you have players now in A.J. Brown and Devontae basically telling you last year's offense was with handcuffs all over the place on it. We really didn't like it. And then you've got Brandon Graham saying the coaches sucked a year ago. So that's an indictment on his office and his locker room. Okay? They're feeling freer to say that. You know why? Because they know he doesn't have the autonomy in the locker room that he had a year ago, because that's been stripped from him and given to Vic and to Kellen. Do you feel that way?
I absolutely 100% feel that way. 100%. I don't think anybody can deny it. And I pushed with on Birds this morning about it. And, John's like, look, he's a CEO head coach. They're fine with that. And I'm like, really? He was hired to be a play caller. And then he went from play caller to non-play caller. And then it went from his offense with Brian Johnson to now it's 95% new. Like, the seat is hotter for Nick Sirianni in Philly than anybody else. Remember, there's a lot of people in here who are like, oh, Jalen doesn't deserve to feel comfortable. He needs to have a good year too. Well, I agree. We go as far as Jalen, but they're not cutting Jalen. They're not trading Jalen. The cap hit for moving on from Jalen Hurts is $100 million. That is not feasible to do. You'll deplete your entire team.
29.
So it's Nick Sirianni. This is all on Nick Sirianni. And I almost am like feeling for him now, because I'm like, if you don't have your quarterback in your corner, like, who is in your corner? It should be you and your quarterback versus everybody in a way. Like, we're going to get this thing going. Whether you're with us right now or not, we're going to show you why. And it kind of feels like they're going in two different directions. I don't feel great about Nick. I feel good about the defense. That's my other big takeaway from the week, is I think the defense is going to be better. I think Vic Fangio is the voice it sounds like we needed in that locker room. The adult in the room, if you will. Everybody knows who the boss is. So I think that's great. I asked John this morning, one of my biggest takeaways from the defense is is Darius Slay going to be in the trade block? Like, Howie is a forward-thinking GM, right? We talk about it all the time. He's a very forward-thinking guy. He's holding out he's moving Bradbury to safety so he can secure a 7th-round pick. But listen, is he going to sit there and cut a 23, 24-year-old corner who had experience last year and maybe Eli Ricks if he doesn't? I mean, it's a numbers thing, right? Like Eli Ricks might not, or Josh Jobe, who's a special team savant. Is he going to move on for them for another year of Darius Slay? Like, I don't know. I think that could be an option where he's looking.
I just think.
I know we talked about it yesterday and you didn't
have to
like
have
it,
some experience back there, dude.
Yeah, but.
Because if you get rid of him and you get rid of Bradbury, you have nobody with any game experience.
Nick and Howie got 2 different jobs. If I'm Nick Sirianni, I'm like, I need experience back there. If I'm Howie Roseman, I'm like, can I get a 4th-round pick?
I would be more on that side of the football thinking not what Howie wants. I would be thinking what Vic wants. Yeah. On that side.
Remember, we're playing a heavy zone back.
That's why I think Bradbury makes sense.
Defensive coverages with Vic Fangio are very zone heavy. So it's not like I'm asking a bunch of youngsters to go up there and play press cover. They're not. And they're all playing as good as they are right now. I just think it's something worth thinking about, right? I mean, the defense is playing this great. Nobody expected this many cornerbacks to be stepping up. Now it's just helmets and shorts. We'll see. You know, you talked about Isaiah Rodgers. The one thing with Isaiah Rodgers is
I'm hearing he's going to start.
Yeah, but he's a guy that you have to see it when the pads are on, because
I agree.
The one thing he struggled with when he was in Indy was tackling and physicality. Yep. So, you know, helmets and shorts is built for the game without physicality. So we'll see with him, but I'm optimistic on the defense.
But in his zone, you're not asked to go around there knocking too many heads. You're more of a guy that's going to get guys on the ground and not being a physical. You don't have to be physical in that Vic Fangio defense in the secondary. I think that's what really rubbed Xavier Howard and Jalen Ramsey wrong last year, was because those guys couldn't be physical, because that's part. Ramsey's physical, dude. When he was in Los Angeles with the Rams, he's a press corner. He's not a center fielder like they played in 22. So,
and if Vic Fangio had Darius Slay when he was 28, he'd be saying the same thing.
Right.
Darius Slay was a press cover corner back then too. Now he's evolved more into his own guy because he's 33. Can't blame him for that, but I'll tell you what, though, the Vic Fangio thing, and you bring up the Dolphins, that makes me love the Eagles, though. I love Philly. Like, these guys, every single one of them, from Jordan to Jalen to Slay to all the defensive guys who spoke, they're all like, I like this dude. He's a all-football kind of guy, no bullshit. Meanwhile, in Miami, it's like, pick a guy out of the defense, out of a hat, and they're going to complain about Vic Fangio. Like,
Country club.
God. All right, dude. Yep, exactly. It's like, come on. So I love the Philly element of that, where it's just like, come on, man. We're not
South Beach.
Yeah,
they got a South Beach mentality down there, where everyone's running around in a thong and everybody's up here in a hard hat.
Yeah,
100%. That's kind of what I like too, because he's more of a hard hat guy. Those guys walk around in guy thongs.
Yeah. Right.
How about this one here, dude? I think this is a bigger deal than even the Inquirer said it. Man, did he put his head coach in a really tough position when he didn't back him, and he just didn't really
kind of throwing us off.
Wanted nothing to do with really him. I mean, he kind of threw him on an island. I mean, I don't know of any situation in the NFL where you see that dynamic work. Even Mike Zimmer, when he was in Minnesota and it came out where he was having problems with Cousins, they moved off of Zimmer the next year. They fired him at the end of the year. I mean, that doesn't work, dude, when your coach and your quarterback are not on the same page.
Yeah, it's definitely troublesome. I mean, I do think it's easy to over-exaggerate it when we're so zoomed into it. Like, if you look across the league, there are certain relationships with coaches where
this is a 3-year thing.
No, it's more the respect thing for me. Like, I don't need, like you just said, I don't need you to like me. I don't need to be best friends with you, but I got to respect your vision for the football team, you know? And if I don't have that, then how can I ride with you? And I'm kind of sensing a lack of that from Jalen Hurts, where he was throwing a total softball to, you know, it was almost like the question.
It was teed up for him.
It was teed up into the question, like, oh, Nick's evolving. And like, he just totally didn't give him anything. And I'm like, the other thing that's interesting about the 95% comment is Jalen is he doesn't give much to the media.
Nope.
So when he does give something, you know that he did want to do it, or he did it for a reason. It was kind of I went back and listened to it after we talked yesterday. It was a little condescending toward Nick, I would say.
He mentioned Brian Johnson more in a better light than he mentioned Nick.
It's a weird dynamic. The coaching dynamics in Philly right now are odd. I gotta be honest. I mean, look, I hope it works out. I'm not saying I'm not optimistic to some extent, but I will say Nick is great cause for concern. I don't know if he has the voice of the locker room. We'll see. I'm hopeful that he can, because what do you need Nick to do this year, right? Like, you technically don't. Exactly. So it's not like we can't be successful with him. If he can stay out of the way, if he can be the CEO we need him to be, where you have your hands on a couple different things, but you're not overwhelming in a certain area, I still think we can be successful. But I do worry. And I asked this question to John. Let's see I know what your answer is going to be, but I still want to ask you. If the Eagles have a top 5 offense this year, and the Eagles let's just say the Eagles go to the Super Bowl. I'm not going to say whether they win or not. That's a different conversation. Let's just say they go to the Super Bowl. Who's the more valuable coach inside the Eagles locker room? Nick Sirianni or Kellen Moore?
Kellen Moore.
Yeah, but Dan, they're not going to fire a coach who went to the Super Bowl two times in 3 years.
Good luck then next year. And
then get this. I'm just saying.
Okay, this is why I think you're asking the wrong question. You're asking the wrong question. Okay, what's more important to you? Jalen Hurts' development and his success, or Nick Sirianni as a head coach in Philly?
Yeah, well, that's an easy answer. I'm just saying.
It's Kellen Moore.
This is why I say it's a tough situation, though, because no owner is going to fire a head coach who went to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years, whether he won or not. That doesn't matter. 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. They're not going to fire him. But I think it's obvious to everybody Kellen would be the more valuable person because he got the offense back on track. So it's a tough situation. The coaching situation right now in Philly is odd. I think it's odd. That's my best word for it.
Somebody threw a super chat out there, and they wanted to throw you some love there too a little bit. So I want to make sure we get that up there.
Jameson, shout out to Jameson. He says, shout out to Xander. Dude's the real. She going places. Also, Johnny Sins might as well our coach. Dude would just screw us like Nick is now. That's a bold one, Jameson.
Dude, like I said, man, odd is an understatement right now. I've never seen a quarterback given T-ball stuff and never, ever take a swing at it. And get this, it's almost, but I will say this too, Xander, if you go back and you even listen to him talking about the current offense, Jalen Hurts didn't even give Kellen his flowers in a way because he said, all new, it's too early to tell whether I like it or not. I'll paraphrase that, but he did say it's too early, and he said, I don't know Nick's role. So he was not giving anything to Kellen or to Nick. I mean, it's a really odd way of expressing yourself as a quarterback by not backing the coordinator. Can I tell you what I think is starting to rear its head here with Jalen? And I think Angelo brought this up. I think he's getting sick and fucking tired of that revolving door of coordinators, new offenses. I think it's wearing him out a little bit because you know what's the one thing that we say? Every great Zach Taylor has been the coordinator for Burrow for 3 years. The guy in Kansas City's got the same guy. Purdy's got the same guy. All the rest of these guys have all continuity. The only guy who's one of the top-level quarterbacks who doesn't have continuity is the guy in Philly.
Yeah.
And you want to change that out next year if he has success.
I don't know if we can give lenience to Jalen on this. You got to get over it, man. If you're going to be successful in the NFL, you're going to lose coaches. Every coach in the NFL that coaches a team to a Super Bowl is on the coaching block. Every coordinator. If your team makes it to the to your conference championship game, your coordinators are up for a head coaching job. I don't care if they're calling plays or not. So he's got to get over that, man. You're making $50 million, and real quick though, to give him credit. That's why I like the one thing he said at the end of the in that press conference. I want to learn this offense, and then I want to make it mine. And that's what we need. He's going to be the only continuous door. If he can take something from each spot to now when we have a coordinator come in, it's not 95% new. That's where you want to be. Because I think
I really like that at June 7th. I mean, so We got 50 days of camp. I hope he picks it up by then. By the way, we had another super chat there, Xander. Let's see. We don't want to miss these guys. These guys have been really great today, and we appreciate
Hey,
it.
new one every year, Des. Yeah, new one
Jalen
every
did
year.
it. Yeah, every year. And dude, he's had it, and then you look at the head coach.
He had a new one when he left BAM, obviously, because he went to Oklahoma. I mean, he's dealt with tons of coaches. So that's why I'm like, I'm almost. Is it an excuse? You tell me. Is it a viable excuse?
Not an excuse, but it's
each coordinator you have is going to make you expand your game. It's going to make you learn more and be a better quarterback.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think if they were changing out every year, Brady, do you think his progression in New England would be fast or slow? Or how about this? If Tom Moore wasn't the OC for 12 years in Indianapolis for Manning, and he had a coordinator every other year, this is what I'm saying it does. I'm saying that your growth level, it goes in spurts like this. When you have one guy that's been in the building, I think you grow a little bit more as a player, and you grow a little faster as a player.
Look what Hurts did.
Look at what they did a year ago. They had non-qualified coaches in the building with him last year, and he regressed.
Yeah, and look what they did the year before that. It was the second year with Kellen Moore, and he was successful.
Well, then you want to take that gamble that he'll go backwards.
I don't want to take the gamble. I think the Eagles are going to. I don't think they're going to move on from Nick Sirianni if we have a successful season.
How about this? Is it possible to have this conversation? If Jalen Hurts has regressed a little bit as a quarterback, Nick Sirianni since 22 has regressed immensely as a coach in that building. Do you not agree?
I do agree. And they've proven it by taking away more and more of his responsibilities every year.
They're adding for Hurts like Saquon Barkley. They are trying to help him, but at the end of the day, they're taking away from the coach.
Yeah, they've gone backwards on Nick Sirianni's role every single year. That's why, look, he's the number one problem. Not problem. He's the number one question. I'm not going to forget that he brought us to a Super Bowl. He was still the head coach of that football team. And it's not like we're talking about Jonathan Gannon and Shane Steichen and Jonathan Gannon were great. But I'm not going to hang the Super Bowl on them. Come on. It was a full effort. I thought Nick was a good coach that season. I thought he handled adversity well in season. Remember, they kind of all really rallied around Nick because he had that goofy start. He had the goofy start to the year, 2-5. They went to the playoffs the next year. And then it was like coming into the next season, everybody rallied around him. I'm not feeling that going into this year. I'm hoping we can get it back out, though.
Did Chip Kelly regress as a coach in Philly? Those first 2 years, he won 20 games.
Yeah, he was a 10-win, 10, and the last year, what was his record on the way out the door? It's like 4 and something. No, I mean, definitely. But Chip Kelly, I can't compare to Chip Kelly. He was an abomination. He
did bring Stoutland in.
Yeah, okay, that was good. But
he brought in Lane. Listen, his bedside manner blows. Plus the whole thing with Deshaun Jackson. Now let's move on to that. I want to throw a few things at you here before you got to go here. I took this away this week. Hey, dude, I think that Fletcher Cox, Jason Kelsey leadership thing is going to be a pretty big thing to watch this year, and who steps up as a leader in that locker room. Because you said this yesterday. Can Brandon Graham really lead from second or third team this year? Now, he's built a ton of equity up over the years. Could he probably say something? But then again, I'm a little doubtful because he didn't say shit last year. Who's that guy going to be? I'm liking what I'm hearing with Mulata. Does Lane have to have a bigger role this year? Who's going to be that guy this year that is going to take that baton? And we're hoping it's the quarterback, but he had a shot this week to be a leader, and he didn't want it.
Yeah, and I'm with you on that. That was a failed attempt at being a leader. Whether he likes Nick or not, or respects him or not, he is the coach of the football team, and there's leadership that you have to have there, and take accountability and own that. And you're right, he didn't. But it has to be Jalen on offense. It has to be, because I think it's going to be A.J. Brown more than you want to give him credit for. I think he is a good leader because what's the best way to lead in the NFL?
Production.
A.J. Brown is the most productive player on that football team. He shows up to every OTA. He shows up to all the practices. He shows up. He's built. He does everything right from a football standpoint. You have knocks on him, and I know you don't want – that's the truth. A.J. Brown is a great professional. He's a great player. He does a great job. So that's natural leadership on that offense. Outside of that, though,
I probably should love him because he talks so much shit. So I mean,
I think Lane Johnson's going to be a leader out there.
I don't know if that's in his DNA to be that kind of guy, but I'd like for him to chirp a little more. I mean, I think Mulata. I'm hearing more Mulata going like this. Hey, Becton, man, I endorse him. When I heard that, I was like, hey, man,
yeah, that was cool.
That was pretty cool.
I like Becton. I think Becton's.
Me too. I think he's a player.
He does like that left side. So that's I get, hey man, there's no spots over on that left side. I tell you what I would
do though? If I was his agent, I'd go, let me have a reality check with you. You want a contract extension, stay in Philly for the next 7-8 years? You want to make $20 million? Yeah. Play that right guard spot.
Yeah, and they'll probably kick him out. I mean, Lane Johnson has how many years left? Maybe 1 or 2. You think 3?
2, 3.
I think
depending on what he wants to do.
Yeah, we'll see what he ends up doing, but it's not forever. Lane is not a 25-year-old dude, so it's that's a position where I could see Becton filling in too.
Kellen Moore, I'd like to see him move around a little bit more motion to help Hurts out, because here's what I say to you: Hurts is not really a pocket presence quarterback yet. Let him develop it. Move guys around more, man. Have a little bit more guys in slot positions, more motion. If Jalen can't move people around and is struggling reading defenses, I told you this. Montana struggled for the first 6 years of his career. Who's Jalen Hurts? I mean, he's no Montana.
And that's a product of the modern world.
Move guys around a little more to create it, as long as it doesn't get too confusing. And see, this is what I think happened in the passing game. John said something that, Xander, to me, I would have pounced on. You know what it was? He goes, they don't even have the running game in. That's the problem. They have half the offense that they're trying to install, and he's struggling. They haven't even put the entire playbook in yet because nobody knows what that run game is going to look like.
You're right. It's a good point. I will say they're going to do more motion, though. And so Hurts is going to have to pick it up. I said to John, they're not out there enough for him to learn a 95% new offense altogether. Now, he's going to be working, obviously, on his own time, but, you're right. I mean, but they will be running more motion. You heard what Devontae Smith said. That was an interesting comment, too. I mean, from a guy that's pretty quiet overall, doesn't like to ruffle many feathers. He goes,
only Big Sills can ruffle them.
He used the word allowed. We weren't allowed to move around last year. In other words,
because they were telling them
where like a kid in timeout, go on the outside and stay out there.
You know what he did? He validated a take of mine. You know what that was? They were telling Jalen Hurts where to throw the ball, and they were telling them where to throw the ball. That's exactly what Devontae did by validating that, by saying that.
Yeah. You're right. And that
because there's no handcuffs.
But I view that as a good thing, right? It's not a good thing for the past, but I think it's a good thing for the future. I want A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith moving. And to your point, you've been talking about it. A.J. Brown in the slot, he's going to wreak havoc on defenses.
Against a safety?
Against a safety. I mean, if they get that matchup, it's all day long. So, I think that's where I think Kellen is going to be the best, good at. I think that's going to be his best add to the offense is getting guys in better positions, improving the passing game. I'm hopeful that Hurts really rises up and can do what he's asked, throwing the ball over the middle, take any dump offs from the defense gives you it, AJ in the slot. So, but I think he will. I mean, the 2022 Hurts doesn't worry me at all. The 2023 Hurts doesn't worry me until post week 13 when the leadership slipped, nothing else happened. He couldn't get the team back on the rails. That's the guy I'm worried about because that's the most recent guy. But look, the Hurts that won.
I think some of that stuff's carried over though because of Nick being in the room.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, Hurts was 27-2 going through a week, 11 games last year. The guy was on a tear. So I'm confident he can still do what we need him to do to get there.
Couple last questions for you. I heard that Will Shipley, man, the last 6 weeks, he was getting better and better at catching passes. They were trying to implement him more. He looked better. And by the way, by the end of the mandatory OTAs, he was taking reps away from Kenny Gainwell. Now, I don't know what that means right now. Again, it's the passing game. We'll see what he does when he has to carry the ball in between the tackles. But I don't know. Could there be a role on this team for him?
Yeah, he struggled at Clemson catching the ball too, and he had drops and fumbles. That was his two big things.
I thought his junior year he wasn't that bad. I thought his senior year he was, especially in the first 6 games. I didn't think
Yeah.
that Clemson team was very good.
No, they were not very good. But I'm talking about specifically him dropping the football,
Yeah.
and fumbling the ball. So
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like he was a sure-handed guy. Now I think he'll be good. I don't think he's going to have much of a role though this year. I think Saquon's going to be is your first true 3-down back you've had in a while. So I'm really interested to see how they're going to use Saquon. Like, is it bell cow back? Is it some in the passing game? I know he can do more, but how are they going to use him?
I think it's 900 yards rushing and 600 yards receiving.
Dude, if he has 600 yards receiving, though, that's a big change from Jalen.
I mean, from DeAndre.
No, from Jalen.
Oh,
Jalen
from Jalen.
Doesn't throw the ball to running back.
Oh, I think that's what they envision. They want like 50 catches out of him. I think it's like 50 catches.
I just wish we would bring in. I would be perfectly fine with that if the running back number 2 wasn't Kenny Gainwell and it was a north to south guy. Get downfield. We just don't have that.
Like a LeGarrette Blount guy.
Yeah, now I'm dreaming over here. So I know it's not going to happen. But
here's Prince here. Jalen will be fine. Vic is pushing him at each practice. They have a great relationship as well.
Guys are killing it on the super chats today, man. Thank you guys. That goes a long way in helping the channel. So we do appreciate when you guys drop the super chats, man. We have the best viewers, Dan. We really do.
Absolutely, we do, man. And by the way, as what I think it's the best responses, even from the people that are the dissenters, in my opinion. That's totally what I love the most. 200 likes is what we're looking for. We really appreciate it. Last one here for you. I got to tell you, man, this Zach Bond guy is going to be a starter.
Seems like it's Vic's guy. Vic is giving him a lot of kudos. Vic talks about him, and every time he's talked, he's gotten a bunch of reps with the first team. So that's the question at linebacker because, I'm not a Nakobe Dean guy, but at the end of the day, when I hear people who are in the know, multiple, not just John McMullen, but a couple other guys we had on the show, they're like, they're still on the Nakobe Dean train. Trust me, when he's healthy, he's going to be in there. So, but here's the question. So let's just say for a second, okay, Nakobe is going to be your Mike. It's going to be Devin and Zach battling it out for your will.
No.
That's what it looks like it's going to be if they're putting Nakobe in there. Nakobe's not going to play weak side linebacker.
No way. Vic Fangio is not going to put a guy he can't count on in there.
Yeah, but
that's why Reddick is no longer here. He's not going to put that guy in. You know what let me tell you what happens to Vic Fangio's credibility. If he starts somebody that doesn't deserve to be in the room, you lose credibility with the rest of your 10.
Well, we don't know. Let's see. Listen, we got to see on Nakobe Dean. I will say, and I'm with you. I'm almost basically completely fed up with it. But he does have some traits that Vic Fangio likes. He's a really smart football IQ guy, smart player, instinctual, very instinctual. Now, I'm not saying he showed a lot in the pros. I'm just saying from a trait standpoint, Vic does like that style of player, especially for somebody who's going to be in the middle of your defense, potentially calling things out. So with communication,
everything on an evaluation sheet when it comes to everything that's not on the field. Smart, he gets it. Hey, but what about durability, size, being able to take on being able to take on guards at 205 pounds, whatever he looks like? I mean, that guy looks like the kicker on your team looks bigger, Xander. I mean, he's a little dude. You have the smallest linebacking core right now. So overall, are you more optimistic about the upcoming season after what's happened these 6 weeks as you're getting ready 50 days out? It's 50 days, actually, from today to the start of training camp on July 27th.
I'm more optimistic with a caveat. I'm optimistic, but I'm concerned with the pressure breaking the pipe with Nick Sirianni because he's still the head of this thing. We're not going to have a successful season if there's instability at head coach. I'm not saying there definitely is going to be, but I think the offense is going to get it. I'm not that worried about the offense struggling in camp. Come on, it's helmets and shorts here. It's a brand new offense. I think with all that talent, the offense is going to be good. How good is the question? They're going to be good. I would say the floor for them would be 8th overall offense in the league, what they were last year. That's got to be your absolute floor. And the defense is looking like they're going to be better than we anticipated. Some of these young guys are stepping up more than we thought they were going to. Vic Fangio has proven that he is seems to be right now the right guy for the defense. He's relating to a lot of the young guys who are going to make or break that defense. I'm optimistic from a playing standpoint. I'm a little bit pessimistic on the head coach.
I love how he just dissected that. Did you hear that? The offense struggled. Don't worry about it. Hey, I'm really optimistic about the defense and helmets and shorts, though. Those guys were great. Holy shit. Big Bill. That's Big Bill right there. Hey, man, that was awesome there. By the way, Xander, you guys are killing it on Birds, man. I mean, really great coverage, man. Really great stuff. I love that you're the new addition here, and you made the whole network younger too by doing that stuff. So I know you got a ton of stuff to do here as you are a one man. He's like the dude out front of Madison Square Garden with the tambourine. He's got the drums. He's got the big drum, and he's also selling hot dogs. Not that shit over there where the Phillies sell them hot dogs, but he's selling really good ballpark hot dogs. So, bro, thank you very much. Before you get out of here, where are we in the likes, my friend?
Let me get that number. Thanks for having me on, but we're at 111. Thanks for having me on, Sills. Thanks to everybody in the chat. We got the best viewers, and they're always good on this segment. I always enjoy reading their comments. So thank you guys, and appreciate you having me on, Big Sills.
You got it, man. Hey, appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on three. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood days.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
Hi, I'm Jim Muehlbronner, Managing Partner at Del Val Insurance Group. Give us a call. We're a local, knowledgeable agency, not an 800 number. Go Birds!
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sills! Hit the like button. Appreciate it. By the way, Philly Godfather, 5:30. We're going to get our boy. I'm going to make a proclamation to you here. I think Cooper DeJean's going to have more of an impact on this football team over the next couple of years than Quinyon Mitchell. Don't be afraid to say it. I know some of you out there are afraid. But I think that kid shows more promise. That's what a lot of people are saying out there right now. And he's going to show more with the Eagles. And I think he has a better impact than what Mitchell has. Right now, they're talking about Isaiah Rodgers starting at the other cornerback position. Okay? I do. Look at what's his Fat Mac Philly goes, you sound stupid? Really? Why? Because it's an opinion that I think that guy has shown more in helmets and shorts than your boy did? Don't cry, guy. Don't cry. Personally, I think the Bama guy's better than him. Don't be upset. I know he's your number 1 overall pick. Okay? We'll see when the pads get on. Well, I'll tell you what. I trust the guy who played against Penn State more than I trust the guy who played against the University of Indiana, Pennsylvania. Or Ohio University. Or wherever the hell some of those shitty teams he played. I'll trust the guy who played against better competition. We'll see. We'll see how it pans out. Oh, man. How you doing? Weird comment because he's white. I could not. I knew within seconds that someone had to go there because you're afraid. I'm not going to be afraid to make that comment. I don't give a fuck if he's white. I don't give a shit what color he is. Carrie's good. You're the only one that gives a shit he's white. It just took seconds for somebody to have lowbrow thinking. What, you can't root for somebody who's white? Or you can't root for somebody who's black? Why does color have anything to starting in a football team? Only you made that an issue, guy. See, we're taught racism by idiots like that when they say that. You sound like a fool. Why? Because it's helmets and shorts and I made an opinion? Okay, Prince. To each his own. That's right, Twiz. Twiz right there, baby. I root for championships. I root. Hey, must be a Frenchman. Funny. I thought he's Eskimo. I don't give a shit what he is. If he lives in an igloo, I don't care. Okay? Oh, man. Sills, what's your next move? My next move? We're going to talk about the Cleveland Browns and the New York Giants. I didn't get to the Browns yesterday. The Week 5 opponent coming out of the bye week. And then the Gigantes followed that up. Okay? Let's see here. Cooper can play corner, nickel, safety, too versatile to sit on the bench. 2-on-5. That's exactly my point. That's exactly the point. Very good. Right. That's got nothing to do with anything except the fact that he's more versatile. You know, they're even trying to put Mitchell in the slot. Okay? I'm looking forward to seeing if this kid is what everyone has said he looks like in camp. Look at Dick Train. There you go, baby. Hey, Dick Train, once again, dog, I don't lie to people I don't know because I don't give a fuck about it. What in the world makes you think you're so important for me to lie to? You lie to important people. You don't lie to people you don't know. You'd be misreading comments like a dummy. Hey, Flexin. Whatever, guy. And by the way, talk about misreading. How about the way you misread your organization for years until I straightened you guys out a little bit here? Your coaches in your building have no say. And the one coach you tried to fight for say, they fired him after winning you a Super Bowl. Sills, I'm comfortable with moving off Bradbury and Slay. Far as experience, we have Gardner Johnson and Isaiah Rodgers. That's a lot of a leap down in experience, though, don't you think? There you go, Steve. You lie to women. You lie to women. Right. You don't lie to Dick Train. See, Sills can't express himself without going to insults. I'll make a point to you, Prince. You know, I don't insult those who don't insult me, if you notice that. I don't insult Barb. She may say some snarky things to me, but I don't insult her. Come on, Prince. Hey, Princess. Come on, sweetness. You know it's all shits and giggles and love. How you doing? Come on, Princess. Absolutely. Flexing. How you doing? We're good, brother. His wife must be gone. You are the only thing you said today, Jay Brown, that's smart is you're right. Oh, hey. Okay. Jay Brown got one right. Congratulations to you. Way to go, dude. What's up, Nick? Oh, Princess, come on. Lay off my boy, Josh Allen. Oh, man. Sills is home alone. I'm not allowed. Hey, just so you know, Denny, Big Sills is not allowed to grill anything or cook anything on the stove when he's by himself. That just tells you the brain cell capacity is not at high volume when no one's around to keep an eye on me. Get Jalen his new playbook. His whoopee and a glass of milk. Whoa! DFW. He needs a whoopee? Come on, man. He needs a whoopee? Come on now. Oh, we got you in your field, Sills. Oh, you must really think you hurt my feelings. Nobody hurts my feelings. Well, no, I don't know. Does anybody hurt my feelings? Let me think. Oh, Bob Lang hurts my feelings. Howie. Devontae, Slay. Who else? Brandon, Jason, all the people that have responded to the show. Britton Covey, who basically called us. Get this. So wait a minute here. How about this Niner all day? Who do you think 33 will be better than 30? Why do you think 33 will be better than 30? Because he's more versatile. By the way, if I said better, I'll take that back and roll that back. I think he's going to be more of an impact because he can do more. That's why. Slot, corner, safety. Safety. I just think there's more ability to move him around more. Okay? That's why. It's just to move him around. So let me ask you something here. Xander, remember when Britton Covey went on Twitter and basically called me and Barrett Brooks a liar for the locker room being disconnected, coaches not being on the same page, and you guys called me a liar? Remember that? And NBC Sports Philadelphia barred Brooks from coming on the program. Remember that? Xander, do you remember that? Well, Brandon Graham validated it. So did the receivers. So NBC Sports Philly, why are you barring people from coming on this show who tell the truth? I'm just curious. You owe this show and me an apology for barring a friend of mine for telling the truth. Nick, we'll work on that. I'll try to get Jason. Britton Covey, go look at his timeline. Called me a liar. Said none of that's true. Did he not? Then he told Barrett Brooks, nobody from NBC Sports Philly could come on my program because I was spreading lies. Well, he lied. Am I expecting that? No. Hey, NBC Sports Philly, you're in the pocket of the Eagles. You have no credibility because everything we said was true. Do you guys remember that? How many people came in here and still you guys were hammering me? Hey, Sileo, why don't you backtrack now? Oh, by the way, I'm going to get his ass later today. And I'm going to remind him of what Brandon Graham said. And go back and look at those tweets. And I'm going to fire back at him. He called me and had people barred. By the way, I love Barrett. We still talk. Brandon Graham validated it. Wide receiver said it. Why would he lie like that? Because they made him. Now you know the difference in what I tell you versus what they say to you. That's right. Hey, listen, I don't have a problem with people saving their jobs. It's all good. I don't fault Barrett. I fault the news organization for spreading lies. Really? Mr. Perez says Sills is reaching. Go read Britton Covey's timeline. I just did. Would you like me to read it? I can easily do it. Easily do it. Isn't it funny? You guys were criticizing me and ripping me a new one. And I was telling the truth. You're welcome. All right. Woo! I won't do it. I won't do it now. I won't. I'm not looking for that much love. Okay, I will. Bruce, thank you. Hey, Bruce, I'm not lying though, am I? They were calling me out. All the Eagle fans. Well, I'm going to remind them a little bit today. You know what Big Sills is going to get? Big Sills is going to get, because Xander's right. Brady Graham did me a solid. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get a little ass back. How you doing? You want to see Xander start squirreling around a little bit? You wait till later on today. You got it, baby. Yes, sir. I'm going to remind that kid of his bullshit here in about 2 hours. Yeah. Oh, man. Sills, take it easy on the soft people who hate the truth. Oh, man. Oh, Xander goes, what are you talking about? I'm talking about Britton Covey calling me a liar, and then Britton Covey calling me a liar, and then NBC Sports Philadelphia not allowing Barrett Brooks on my program because Barrett was the first guy that said something about a disconnect in the locker room with the coaches. And all Barrett was doing, I'm validating Barrett for him. And they told him not to come on. And now Brandon Graham says there was a disconnect with the shitty coaches. Don't you want to be validated at NBC Sports Philly? Or was it just about keeping people off my program? Because the Eagles told you to. Which is it? I'm confused. Damn! Oh, man. Come on, Dick Train. Yeah. Barrett Brooks. What? Hey, by the way, when you're reading it now, Mr. Perez, make sure you read the soundbite of Barrett Brooks saying that there was a disconnect in the locker room. I don't think we took that down. I'm not sure. I think we kept that up. But Barrett was saying it, that he heard it, and Britton Covey was one of the guys. And he said that on the program, that there was a disconnect with the coaches inside the locker room. And then MSNBC got a call from the Eagles telling them not to come on my program anymore because it was a lie. Well, Brandon Graham said it this week. It was true. All you got to do is hang in there with Big Sills. Oh, man. I might have to repost that Barrett Brooks one. Thank you, Brandon. They were hating on me all over Philly, too. When that comment came, I think it got over 500,000 views. I think that bike got over 500,000 views. Am I right, Zen, or something like that? Brandon Graham validated that segment. Only took him 6 months, but we're good. How you doing? All right, let's do this. Hit the like button here, my friends. I'm sorry to have to do all those things to you. Sills, what do you think of Jacob's comment on the Sao Paulo game? What's Jacob's comment? I don't know. Can't wait to see 2020 on the Eagles collapse on ABC. Come on now, Henry. It's Friday, man. Be nice. Come on now, Henry. Don't be like that. Come on now. Oh, my God. That's funny, man. Josh Jacobs mentioning Eagles and Packers can't wear Hey, get this. Hey, Madness. So Josh Jacobs and the Eagles and the Packers have been told that they can't wear green in Brazil and Sao Paulo because it represents gang members like Crips and Bloods in South Los Angeles, right? Well, just into the NFL. Why in the world would you schedule two teams that the base color of the teams are green? Because they don't give a fuck. Hey, wait a minute here. I mean, the base color for both teams are green. Hey, you guys can't wear green. It's the Eagles. They have green. Their helmet's green. The Green Bay Packers. There's green in the name. Where in the world and what in the world were you thinking? The Packers are called the Green Bay Packers. What do you want them to change their name to? The Milwaukee Packers? Green Bay Packers. You don't have to wear green. So they're going to wear all white, the yellow helmet, and they're still called the Green Bay Packers. You can't wear green. There's a Green Bay Packers. The Eagle helmets are green. Oh, they're wearing the black ones. With the green feathers, right? Can't wear green. You got to be white. So are the white helmets coming back? I'm confused here. What are they going to wear? Steagles uniforms? Green Bay Packers. The Philadelphia Eagles. Green. Oh, man. Oh, man. How funny. How funny. Oh, woof. Good night. Woo! All right, I'm going to take a timeout. Xander, before you take skedoodle here, where are we in your likes? Where are we in the likes, my friend? We're trying to get to 200 before we get to 3 o'clock here on this Friday. Don't forget, Philly Godfather, we're going to join us. We're going to take a timeout. We're at 131. You guys are killing it. 69 away. Appropriate number. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
Hi, I'm Jim Muehlbronner, Managing Partner at Del Valle Insurance Group. Give us a call. We're a local, knowledgeable agency, not an 800 number. Go Birds!
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sales National Football Show. Please hit the like button. The legendary Philly Godfather is going to join us at 5:30 Eastern Time. Please hit the like button. Isn't the Brazilian flag like 75 to 80% green? Q, I don't know. I mean, Q, let me ask you this. Do you really actually think the NFL gives a shit about what the Brazilian government thinks? Since when does the NFL care about anything? I mean, PSLs. Hey, I got to pay you $7,500 just to stand in line to maybe get a ticket or a season ticket package in Philly, right? And it's non-refundable. Since when does the NFL care about anything? The NFL doesn't need fans anymore. They need you at home. Do you understand the National Football League would rather have you at home watching the game than at these stadiums? Let me put it in perspective here for you on how the NFL is unlike NBA and baseball. They don't give a shit if you're there or not. They don't care. Let me ask you this. So you build the Eagles. We'll take the Eagles. This is an NFL deal. You take the NFL's Lincoln Financial Philadelphia Eagles. How many games do they play there max a year? 10? Couple preseason games, 8 home games. This year, you're even getting jobbed out of a home game, right? So you got 7. You got 7 home games for a $3 billion stadium. I don't know about you, but I'm not really going to get my return on investment with 10 ball games. I mean, you built that stadium for Taylor Swift, not for the Eagles. You built that stadium for the DNC and RNC. You built that stadium for WWE, not for the Eagle fans. The National Football League makes 98% of their revenue off TV. Do you know that? Do you think the salary caps and the players' salaries come out of the attendance that you pay? It comes out of the television packages. The Amazon Thursday, the Sunday night, the Monday night, the CBS, NBC, and ESPN and Fox packages. They don't give a shit if there's 69,000 fans in there or not. They make you feel good about it, but it's not true. Basketball and football, they're held to that. They have to because they don't have the same TV deals. You see that Bally Sports that just went under? The Padres had to sell off all kinds of commodities. Why? Because cable television was fueling that roster. Tell me you knew this. Fans buy merchandise. Merchandise doesn't buy Jalen Hurts' $50 million contract, guy. It's Amazon. 98% of the operating budget from a National Football League team comes out of TV deals. Why do you think those television contracts, and they're so concerned about streaming now? Fan bases like Philadelphia, man, are wonderful. Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Green Bay, all those places are fabulous. Do you think the Spanos family gives a shit that nobody's at Charger games? No. Do you know that every NFL team makes the same amount of money, no matter if you're 17-0 or 0-17? You make the same money. It's called profit sharing. This year for the Super Bowl for Fox, a 30-minute set. Big Joe's listening now. Big Joe would like some of this. Do you know what a 30-second commercial spot goes for now? $7 million during the broadcast. Think about what the NFL made with that fourth quarter where it went into overtime. They made an additional $65 million just by that game going into OT. I told you, one of the things, too, you'll never see ever go away is the extra point. Why? It's a game changer. It's a cash register. Every time they kick the point, they go to commercial break. You're not getting rid of the extra point. You'll get rid of the kickoff before you get rid of the extra point. The extra point's a moneymaker. Two ways. Gambling, because the point differential in games is 3 points. And it's a commercial break. You know how I know all this? The NFLPA tells us. I mean, they treat us like super educated WWE fans. That's what they treat us like. Yeah! Civil pride. We're here for everybody. We're here. We put the logos on and it's something month and all that. Sure. Right. Yeah, I'm sure their advertisers are keen on that. So you don't see any Bud Light commercials on NFL commercial breaks, do you? I don't think so. Holy cow, man. You can't be that gullible. It's like wrestling fans. Do you know that 94% of NFL fans have never been to games? Coke told me that. Wait, Coke or Pepsi one of those guys told me that 94% of NFL fans have never been to games. Okay? Wow. Wrestling. Perez goes, what the F is Sills talking about? I know, dude. It's over your education and probably something you can't comprehend. And we'll break it down to you a little bit later. We'll get the Shohei Ohtani translator out for you a little so that maybe we can hook you up there with Norwalk Community College translator. We'll hook you up later on, kid. It's okay, man. Don't worry about it, guy. We'll put it down on we'll put it out there and we'll make sure we have a written transcript for you so that maybe you can read along. I know it's a little probably too there for New Brunswick Community College there for you. So it's all good, kid. Okay? Don't worry about it, son. We're here to help and educate. All right, listen. I didn't get a chance to do the Browns yesterday, so we're going to do the Browns and the Giants here. We're going to do weeks 5 and 6. The Browns are coming out of the bye week, and the Gigantes are on the other side of that. Dana, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Guys, by the way, please hit the like button. We appreciate it. Well, let me tell you something, Mr. Perez. I will put my college degree up against anybody else's that's on the air anywhere. I'd like to see how many people over there at IP or that other thing that actually have graduated. Let me spell it out. Marketing. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it. Don't worry, kid. Hey, don't worry, Perez. Perez graduated from Paramus Community College. It's okay, kid. Don't worry. We're here for you, son. All education is loved here, and all education is here accepted. All right, let's get into the Browns. This will be your Week 5 opponent. By the way, Mr. Perez can now go home and go, my God, Big Sills! He knows me. Don't worry, kid. You know what? There's very few people. Just remember this, though. I got to remember you because there's certain people in my life, and Big Joe can tell you this. You know, man, insight sometimes got to be there a little bit for me because out of sight, out of mind for me. You know, I mean, you know, unless I get the call from BL over with the Eagles, then it's nauseating. Then I have to sit around and go through that bullshit. Oh, by the way, one more time, I just got a great text from a friend of mine who validated what I just said. Isn't it funny how NBC Sports Philadelphia now, they were wrong to tell their employees not to come on my program when Brandon Graham validated what Barrett Brooks and I said when we were talking about the disconnect in the locker room, and Barrett brought it up here on this program. And then the Eagles called them and said, don't put anybody on his show. Why? For telling the truth? We told the truth. Then Britton Covey comes out, calls us liars. And Brandon Graham this week validated it. Maybe we aren't so crazy. You see, I'm a scoreboard guy. Joe knows this to a fault. I'm a scoreboard guy. Because you know why? Coolest thing about a scoreboard, you can't change it. See, in politics, you can move the yardsticks. In sports, you can't change the scoreboard. How come you clown BG? Because they're two different entities. He validated what I said, but for his leadership role, 6 months after the fact, instead of telling me while the ship was sinking what to do, he told us what to do when the ship hit the sea floor. Those are two different things. They're two different things, dude. Yes, I was right. What, you think that's going to change my opinion of when they needed leadership last year when Chernobyl Eagles were in play? And then he told us what we needed to do after it was on the sea floor? Sorry, I don't subscribe to that. That's not leadership. You know what that is? That's being a flag waver for your front office. It's not, hey, I'm not going to validate his, you don't have to say anything about what a great Eagle he's been. And I'm not going to give those cheap-ass backhanded slaps like that. I don't have to say that. We already know. But not a good moment. They needed him when it was sinking, not when it was already on the floor. Don't you think so? Or are you just not wanting to go there? That's probably more it. All right. Week 6. And how many people believe that this Cleveland Browns team coming out of the Week 5 bye is going to be a tough game for the Eagles? How many people believe this Browns team is going to be good? And by the way, this is going to be an overview, not so much breaking it down. We'll do more of that as we get closer. We're talking more about an overview and how I see them and where they are on June 7th. Stevens goes, it's a danger game. Sue goes, possible. Senor says, it's a good test for Hurts. I like all those. Danger game, possibly, good test for Hurts. I think those are all true. Okay? Here's my takeaway on the Browns. This is week 6 after the bye. Niner all day. Browns defense is crazy good. Love their coordinator too. Yep. A bite of life. Kenny Flickett will cook the Browns. God forbid that's there. Tough matchup for both. Good. Okay, let's go here. This has got to be the year of Deshaun Watson. That deal has to work. Or it could go down as one of the worst deals in the history of pro football. He's got to look something like he did 2 years ago in Houston. He's got to look something like that. We have not seen that guy in 2.5 years. He has got to show us that he is the guy that they gave that $230 million guaranteed to. He's got to. Senor goes 2 years ago was a long time. You might try that out for your boy Hurts too, man. But you're right. And no way is he going to play like that without massages. Are you saying, Senor, he should have went to New England where they got him up there with Bob Kraft? I don't know. It's all right. Yeah. He's got to play well, though. He's got to play well. Yeah, JM, that Russell Wilson deal to Denver, that could be actually the worst deal on the planet. But this guaranteed deal here, the money and the draft picks is what's making this thing look sick. Unbelievable. It was a playoff team a year ago. And they did a really great job with that revolving door at quarterback. They ended up sitting there with, Joe Flacco ended up winning comeback player of the year. I really like Kevin Stefanski, their head coach, play calling head coach. He's a good-looking coach. And this guy's one of the best coaches on the planet. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he got NFL Coach of the Year. And that guy did a great job with all those coaches. That they beat the Niners with a backup quarterback from Temple. That guy can coach, man. It's the hardest schedule in the National Football League based on 23 opponents here on June 7th. So we say that with an asterisk. But it's the hardest schedule. It's a pretty brutal run. They got a lot of teams, obviously, in the AFC North that they got to go through. So that's going to be, and plus that division that they're in, insane division. I think they're a good football team. I love Jim Schwartz. I really do. He won the NFL Assistant Coach of the Year award. Just a great coach. I think this football team is an 11-win team, 11-6, something like that. And who knows if Watson plays better, if they can be better than 11-6. I think the schedule doesn't help them. Watson has to be, but you got Chubb, you got a great receiving core, you got a tight end, and you arguably have one of the top 3 offensive lines in pro football. Now, you lose Callahan because he goes over with his kid to Tennessee. So you lose one of the best offensive line coaches in the NFL, but that's a good group they have there in Cleveland. That's a good football team. Andrew Berry's done a really nice job. The former executive with the Eagles has done a really nice job at putting that roster together. Coaching staff looks good. For the first time, Jimmy Haslam actually has something there in Cleveland that resembles something that could go a distance in the postseason. They just got to get that quarterback to play well. If the quarterback plays 90% of what he was in Houston, they're going to go long. That's a good football team. Okay? If Chubb is 75% of what he was, they'll steam over the Eagles. He's a great back. I like him. I like him a lot, man. I do. If Watson plays better, this team will go far at the playoffs, especially with that defense. Adam, that defense is spectacular, especially with Myles Garrett. If Myles Garrett played, get this. Here's what drives me crazy about Micah Parsons. And 304, I know you're in here. Micah Parsons versus Myles Garrett. Honest to God, dude. I mean, that's like talking about Winston Churchill being compared to Joe Biden. I mean, there's no conversation. It's like Winston Churchill versus Biden. And, you're trying to compare the two. There's no comparison. If you can make that happen. That's the glaring difference. Okay? Watson needs to step up. He surely does, man. He's got to validate that contract. So I like that team. I think in a very packed AFC. Okay? In a very packed AFC. So, guys, hit the like button, please. We appreciate you guys doing it. Chubb helped me in my fantasy years ago. Manchester, we'll see what he does coming off that knee injury. All right. Now, When I was a kid growing up, I really loved the New York Giants for many reasons. Uncle Hall of Famer was around the organization. Sometimes in the summer, I'd go to camp with my high school coach, Joe Anzalone, and I would set up the cones. They would practice at the old Yale Bowl in New Haven when I was a kid. And Robustelli would take me to practice. We'd go there. Chris, Mike, myself, Dave Pizzulli, guys from my high school. We all went to high school together. And we would go, and I was very, very close to the Giant organization. Wellington Mayer loved Andy. Andy was a former general manager, Hall of Famer. So my connection with the Giants when I was a kid was not just watching them on TV. It was a lot to do behind the scenes. Get this. You want to hear just a really quick story. Mark, you want to hear something crazy? So Andy Robustelli used to own and by the way, as I've showed you many times, some of you guys are new. You see that jersey back there? That's his Hall of Fame jersey that they hang. It's a replica of the one they hang at Giant Stadium when they retired his number. It's got the pin on it right there. So the day they retired his number 81, that's the jersey. One of the three jerseys that was there that day when they retired his number at the old Meadowlands. I think I showed you this. Robustelli. There's the pen right there. And there's his retirement jersey. This was given to me by the Robustellis when he passed. So my connection with the Giants is not just watching them on TV. As I said, and I knew Wellington Mayer very well. It's hard for me to talk like this about that organization. Thank you, Adam. Appreciate it. So, by the way, Adam, he's the guy that introduced me to concrete at some Jersey event. We were at some New Jersey event, and he goes, "So, come here, Danny. I want you to meet Chuck Bednarik." And this is the guy that was standing over at Gifford, who I'd known my whole life when I was a kid. And he's standing over Gifford. And I asked him what he said. I think Big Joe Krause would like that. And I go, "Concrete, what'd you say to him when you had your hand up like this in that 60 title game?" He goes, "You really want me to tell you? This was on the air." He goes, "This fucking game is over." I was like, and we muted it, but I'm like, no way. He goes, "Oh yeah. In the 60 title game." Not maybe it wasn't the title game, because maybe I think they lost to the Packers in the title game. It was the game he knocked out Gifford. Because when Gifford was knocked out, I don't know if that was the 60 title game or not, because I thought they beat the Packers in the 60 title game. So it was the game that he knocked out Gifford. And I asked him, and I had that as a screensaver for years. Bednarik knocking. I had that poster in my room of Bednarik knocking Gifford out. Between that picture and Lindros getting knocked out by Scott Stevens in the middle of that logo when Stevens knocked him out, crazy great. It was a 60 title game. Thank you. Seals, you give more insight to football, what really happens behind the scenes. Gives us real info about the Birds than any cable show or reporter ever will. Keep dropping the knowledge, brother. Love you. Jeff, thank you very much. God bless you, dude. I love that logo you have there with JB99 too. Thank you very much, brother. Oh, by the way, always show you this too, Jeff. See that there, man? See that little cup? I've told some of you this. That cup was given to me at Jerome's funeral. Well, the cup was given to me. All the players that were there got a cup from the Brown family. My aunt just sent me that, by the way, a couple months back. So that was cool. All right. So the Giants. It's kind of hard for me to do this, but I'm going to lay into it. 1960 was the one year the Giants didn't make the championship game in that era. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that, dude. You're wonderful, man. Are you still a Giants fan, Sills? Not really. Not really. Because many of the people, Will, that are no longer there was kind of one of the reasons. You guys, hey, Will, you remember a guy by the name of George Young, who used to be the general manager? I knew George very well. And I knew John McVay. By the way, that's Sean's grandfather, who used to be a head coach there. I knew a ton of the Giant guys back in the day. And during the Parcells time, too, because Ray Perkins was my coach that drafted me. And he's the coach that drafted Lawrence Taylor and drafted Phil Simms and drafted all those guys. So there was a connection when Ray Perkins drafted me. He drafted Lawrence Taylor, too, when he was the head coach of the Giants. So, I mean, I got a chance to I really loved the Giant guys back in the day. But if you're asking me, Will, am I a Giants fan now? Probably not. I keep an eye on them, but not like I used to when I was a kid. And by the way, I've told you guys this numerous times that I grew up, the biggest rivalry for me was Giants and Eagles. It wasn't Giants and Cowboys. It was Giants and Eagles. I didn't look at the Cowboys as anything. It was Giants and Eagles. It was Philly, New York. We don't know how Chubb's going to look. That was a bad injury. Amazing how Schwartz's blitzes are now. Hey, Sean, he was great last year, man. I grew up in that Spags, Plaxico, Strahan era. The Giants defense was no joke with Justin Tuck. O.C. Umenyiora was on that team too. They had a good group, man. They were good. O.C. Umenyiora was on that team. I don't think Pepper Johnson was still on that team. He may have been a linebacker coach that was on that staff back in the day, if I'm not mistaken. I think you're talking to Coughlin times. Okay, I think you're talking, that sounds like Tom Coughlin days. So no wonder all these kids and grandchildren go into coaching. Nepotism must be nice. Well, yeah, John McVay was the head coach of the Giants. He bombed mightily. He was not a good coach. So just to give you a little history, he gets fired, and they fire him in New York. Then he goes to San Francisco, and you know what he does? He becomes a scout. John McVay becomes the general manager of the San Francisco 49ers. And it's him, DeBartolo, and Walsh that build those dynasties. Then they pass it off to Carm Policy. Then he goes to Tampa, I believe, in a semi-retirement, becomes an area scout, I think for the Niners for a bit. Then he goes to work for the Bucs. Sean McVay got a job as a ball boy with Gruden. And Jay Gruden, his brother, was in arena football at the time. So the guy throwing the football around Tampa, when I was covering the Bucs, there was a kid running around throwing a football. I've known Sean McVay since he was 10 years old. And they were grooming him. Then they made him a quality control coach. Then when Jay got the job in Washington, I think it is. If I'm not mistaken, Yale, is this how that worked out? I think when Jay got the job in Washington, Sean went up there, was the OC. They offered the job to John Gruden when the Rams moved to Los Angeles. They offered it to John. He turned it down and said, you should hire Sean McVay. Sean McVay gets the job because of the recommendation of John Gruden, who was still working Monday night. And that's how he's the head football coach in Los Angeles, because Bruce Allen and John Gruden recommended him off that staff when he was in Washington. Dude, Matt LaFleur was on that staff. Kyle Shanahan was on that staff. They had a bunch of great coaches that was on that coaching staff. Jay Gruden and John Gruden, they handpicked so many great coaches that are head coaches in the league today. It was an amazing sideline. That's how Sean McVay got that job. Sean's done a great job since, but he was groomed to be a head coach. He was around John Gruden. Then he got to Washington. Jay's a pretty good coach and a pretty good talent evaluator when it comes to picking coaching staffs. So that's kind of the history of how that all worked out. And he's the grandfather, John McVay, did a lot to do for putting him in the right positions for him to become the head coach of the Rams. He's a great coach, man. Yeah, Jay Gruden. Well, what happened, Forrest, when Jay was in Washington, he signed those contract extensions, and he walked out the door with about $65 million of Daniel Snyder's money. And he's one of those guys that's just not going to tolerate a bunch of bullshit. We should get him on. He's a close friend of mine. I like Jay. I mean, I know Jay a long time. We are very good friends. As a matter of fact, I haven't had him on in a bit. We should try to get him on. NFC East was black and blue division. Eagles and Giants would kill each other in those games. Those were great rivalry games back in the day. And I'm talking about from the 70s on. They were spectacular games, man. I mean, the golden age of the NFL, in my opinion, was the 70s, because you had no free agent movement and teams were built and they were there. You were either there or you weren't there. He failed in Washington. Hey, Yale, name me Mike Shanahan. You think he failed in Washington? Yale. You think Mike Shanahan failed in Washington? Didn't Joe Gibbs fail with Daniel Snyder? I'm not talking about Preston Marshall when he owned the team. I'm talking about when Daniel Snyder owned the team. So think about the coaches that also failed there under Snyder. Gibbs, Shanahan, those guys failed too. So to say Jay Gruden failed, well, okay. All right. Are we going to talk some Bill Bergey? I owned a Bill Bergey shirt. Let me guess, 66. I had a Bill Bergey jersey when I was younger. I had a Bill Bergey jersey and a Leroy Selman jersey. God, how would I have known that? But I think I liked Bergey when he was in Cincy, and then when he got traded to the Bengals. I don't even know where I'm at. Let me get to the Giants. Man, not sure what can be said about this Giant organization and how bad it's being run. Giants beating that 16-0 Patriots team was the biggest upset. Defense and Coach Spags. That'll put him in the Hall of Fame. Okay? That'll put him in the Hall of Fame. I can't describe how bad this Giant organization is right now. I mean, between the missing of the contract extension and then the option disaster with Daniel Jones, the signing of Waller, it's been chaotic. That 2022 season that they had, I think that was just a lucky season. That it was just out of nowhere. And I think 2023 is more of who the G-men are. They're a bad team. It's a bad organization. Daniel Jones, his uneven play. He's recovering from an ACL. He's got a bad O-line. And let me put it to you this way. I want to show you the difference between the Eagles and the Giants over the last 24 years. The Eagles produce 5 great linemen every fucking year. Every year that I can remember since Jeffrey Lurie has owned that team, you can count on one thing, them being great at tight end and great in the O-line. I don't know what the quarterback's going to look like. I don't know what your defense is going to look like, but I know this. I have never seen an organization take such an emphasis and hit on it. Whether it's a 4th or 6th rounder with Kelsey, a 7th rounder with Malata, a 2nd rounder with Landon Dickerson, a free agent with Micaiah Becton, Jason Peters trade. I mean, between Mudd and Stoutland, having those coaches and the amount of success in the last decade, the Giants haven't hit on one lineman except that left tackle they have now. Everything has been a train wreck in New York when it comes to the O-line. I'm not telling you Daniel Jones is good, but how would you know? This guy's running for his life every single year he's there. The Giants have massively failed at that position. It's just been from the Flowers kid up. The Eagles are 20 years ahead of the New York Giants when it comes to developing O-linemen. Here, let me put this in perspective to you when you hear Micaiah Becton talking. And you heard him talking sitting in front of the media, which I loved. Guy goes like this, do you want this to be long-term? He goes, hey, man, I want to play here a long time. I love the Philly fans. Stout, hey, man, whatever he says, I'm doing. I'm like, okay. This guy's a 16th pick in the draft out of Louisville with the Jets. And he goes like this, are you open to playing? He goes, I'm listening to whatever he said. He goes, were you open like this in New York? He goes, no. He obviously didn't trust the coaches in New York with the Jets. Yeah, man, whatever they want me to do, I'm here. Yeah, I'll hey, I'm here to help. I want this to be a long-term deal. This guy could have went anywhere and played and started, but he wanted to come here and be coached by that guy. He took $5 million less easily. Okay, he took $5 million easily and a starting opportunity with incentives to come play in Philly. That says a lot to me. He wants this to be a long-term deal. That's really a great comment from Micaiah Becton. And the Giants can't get shit right. They can't get anything right that position. That left tackle looks pretty good. But the rest of those guys are garbage. Why would you even let Feliciano go a year ago if you're the Giants? You know you got a quarterback that has to rely on handling the blitz internally, and he struggled with it a year ago because they got rid of Feliciano. So the center and the left tackle position are the two key components that you have to at least solidify. Hey, do you notice? How about this, man? How about this for a second here? You think there's any coincidence that the best teams in the league have the best centers in the league? The reigning MVP in Baltimore has Linderbaum. Ragnow's in Detroit. The Niners have a great center. Kansas City has a great center. The Eagles had a great center. We'll see what Cam does. You think there's any coincidence to that? That every one of those successful football teams, every one of them had great centers and has great centers right now. Okay? I mean, there's no coincidence. They set the front. They check blitzes. Odd even, 34-43. Giants beating that 16-0 Patriots team was the biggest upset defense and Coach Spags. Sean, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah. And as I said, brother, that'll put him in the Hall of Fame. Spagnuolo as an assistant coach. Okay? Hey, Sean, and some of you in here, you guys remember a guy by the name of Dick LeBeau? Well, Dick LeBeau, he's like that. Spags. He'll be a Hall of Famer as an assistant. Dick LeBeau was a great assistant coach in the National Football League. Pretty damn good player. Played with my uncle with the Giants back in the day with Landry. Seals, who's winning the AFC East? Corey, you're a Jets fan? Corey, how could you be a Jets fan? Corey, how could you be a Jets fan? Joe Namath and Fireman Ed and Jody McDowell. Come on, man. I mean, come on. And Craig Carton, too. You got to throw Craig in there. Come on. Hey, the Jets, Corey, if you're really a Jets fan, you were born to boo. Oh, man. Hey, you were born to boo, dude. You were born to boo if you were a Jets fan. Okay? You totally were born to boo. I don't know. I'm surprised that Adam Peters didn't give Spags a head coaching interview. Yeah, me too, man. I think you hear what hey, one of the really cool things too, James, that Les Snead and Kevin Demoff, the executives with the Rams, said, I thought was one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my entire life. They said when they were in St. Louis, they never gave Steve Spagnuolo everything he needed to be a great head coach, and they failed him miserably. If there's one guy that deserves to be a head coach in this league and get another opportunity, it's Steve Spagnuolo. And that's true. By the way, Corey, I'm going to show you something. Let me see if I still have it. What do you make of this, Corey? My brother from Mark Gastineau. What do you make of that? Corey, you like that? Surely you like that. Is that your team, Sills? No. No, the Jets are not my team. One of the biggest Hall of Fame snubs. Let's see. Do I have one more thing to show you? I'll show you one more. Joe Krause, I'm going to have to leave the screen. One last thing here. Hang on here. Hang on here. One last thing here. I'll leave the screen here for this. Hang on here. Corey, I'm doing this for you because you're new to the show. Amazing stuff. Corey, I got another one for you. You ready for this one? All signed by the New York Sack Exchange. Klecko, Abdul Salam, Gastineau, and Lyons. Surely you like that too. The entire New York Sack Exchange signed this for me. And they're all dear friends. Surely you like that. Klecko was a great player. Weeb Eubank coached the Super Bowl III New York Jets and the 1956 Colts that beat my uncle in that game in the 58 title game. Yeah. Thank you. C24. I thought you were out of here. Oh, good. So no Barkley in New York. Right? No Barkley. Yeah, Klecko was a Temple guy. Great player. Gastineau was better, though. Defense, is it enough? They signed Brian Burns. I think their linebackers are okay. Thank you, C24. I mean, 6 wins tops. Brian Dable on the hot seat. So, I mean, yeah, I think the Giants are a train wreck. That's right, Yale. Good call. Buddy Ryan was the defensive line coach on the New York Jets team that won the Super Bowl in '69 at the Orange Bowl. Hey, and I'll tell you one thing cool too, Yale. Not only did I found out, Namath told me something I used to go to, and my aunt knows this. By the way, give us a total. Want to hear where we are right now when it comes to the like list. I didn't realize this until Namath's people and my high school coach who used to take me to the Namath camp in Quinnipiac, Connecticut. It used to be called the Namath Full Contact Camp. And it was at Quinnipiac University. And in that camp, Buddy Ryan would come up and he would coach along with Phil Villapiano. Winston, you guys remember a guy by the name of Winston Hill? He was an offensive line coach. Joe Namath, Sugar Bear Hamilton from the Patriots, Lester Williams. First time I had ever heard of the University of Miami. I was in high school then. And I used to go up for this camp, and one camp, they'd be kids from all over the country. Alabama, from what's that one school in New York, had a bunch of really great players. I forget. But all over the United States, Pennsylvania, the big 33 kids would come in there, and I was in high school then. And they would coach me, and I was the MVP of one of the camps defensively. And that's when I got introduced to Coach Bryant and all that through Namath. And so that's where I first met Buddy, but I didn't know that until Namath told me about 4 or 5 days ago, or about 4 or 5 weeks ago. He told me, don't you remember Buddy used to come up? And then Buddy went down to Miami, and I posted the picture of Buddy coaching us at the University of Miami. I got to tell Rex that story about his dad coaching me in Quinnipiac up there at the Namath camp. That was a fun time, man. I used to go up there for 2 weeks, full contact, 2-a-days. And I was a sophomore and junior in high school. I didn't do it my senior year, but I did it 2 years. I think my aunt sent me both years. 1 year I didn't have to pay, 1 year I did. The second year I didn't have to pay because I was the MVP the year before. And the other year I did my junior year, I didn't have to pay. That was a bunch of fun. It was full contact. Great tackle, passed away recently. Corey, I didn't realize that. But Winston Hill was that was Namath's guy that was in that old line. So just to wrap up the Giants, talking a lot of Jets here. It's funny, I got more, I got Jets. Isn't that crazy? I got history with the Jets and I got history with the Giants. I'm 35 minutes to New York City when I was growing up in Stamford, Connecticut. So I used to go, and because of all of our, Gary Cobb grew up with me. I told some of you guys, hey, dude, my dad used to play golf with Jackie Robinson at Hubbard Heights. And me and Gary Cobb said, dude, at any time, Jackie Robinson, when you were a small kid playing Babe Ruth baseball or any event, Jackie Robinson would show up as a guest speaker. There's Jackie Robinson. he come walking in. I didn't know how great he was. Back then, I was a young kid. I had no idea. I was like 11 or something, 10 years old. I mean, I just started in sports, and there's Jackie Robinson walking in. And my father plays golf with him on weekends. You're like, I'm at the Hubbard Heights Country Club in Connecticut, in Stamford. And there's Jackie Robinson in a golf cart with my dad. My dad was a young dude then. Crazy. I tell the stories. My wife was always like, don't tell those stories. People won't believe them. I'm like, I get it. That's stupid. Oh, and hey, that picture I showed you guys numerous times. The patch that Rachel sent me. I got a patch. I'll show it to you when we go to a timeout up here. But yeah, I got a patch from the Robinson Foundation that because Rachel used to come to all of our practices, and the field that I grew up in sports in Stamford is named Jackie Robinson Field. And when they dedicated it, I was there, and we all met Rachel. We knew who she was. And so I learned all my sports at this ballpark. It was right across the highway where I was born, or where I lived in Stamford. And we used to go there. And Rachel, years later, we're still friends. She's still alive. And the foundation, the Jackie Robinson Foundation, sent me a patch on the anniversary when they retired the 42 number. And they made a collector's item out of it. And I got one of them. So 165 likes. Guys, we're coming up to the top of the hour here. Very good. We're right on pace here. We are 35 away, and we're going to reset. Crazy stuff. Broadway Joe, that was the last time they won. You want to hear something, Yale? Joe Namath, as great as he was, had more interceptions than touchdown passes, and I think he's the only quarterback in the Pro Football Hall of Fame with a losing record. I mean, you couldn't do that today. And this is the case. Let me ask you this. You think Eli Manning's a Hall of Famer? He's 117, and 1. The fact that Hurts has outright refused to endorse Sirianni in 2 separate interviews now is very concerning. Seals one time was is he a Hall of Famer? One more time, C24. I could have 4 viewers watching the show, and they'd all be from the Eagles. Ask Joe. He's the one that gets the call every day. Ask him. Ask him. Look at that. Based on accomplishments or talent? No. Is he a Hall of Famer? If you got to think about it, he's not. You got to think about it. He's not a Hall of Famer. Okay. We're going to reset. The legendary Philly Godfather is going to join us at 5:30 Eastern Time. It is a Football Friday. You're 50 days out to the start of training camp. Okay? 50 days. We're going to reset. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
Hi, I'm Jim Muehlbronner, Managing Partner at Del Valle Insurance Group. Give us a call. We're a local, knowledgeable agency, not an 800 number. Go Birds!
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sil's National Football Show. Please hit the like button. We appreciate all of you being here. Thank you so much. I can't thank here. Thank you so much. C24 has threatened to leave us about 17, 18 times. He still can't get away from us. So we appreciate him still being here. Thank you, brother. I can't tell you how many times I heard him say, I'm out of here, 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 and he's still here. I know, dude. Hey, listen, I love you here. It's all good, dude. I know. Hey, C24, I know, man. I've sucked for 40 years. I know. I've heard it. No, butthurt. You must actually think I care what you think. Mark goes like this, Niner. You got yeah. Hey, I love Joe Klecko, man. He's a great football player. Absolutely a great player. All right, man. We're gonna reset here in a minute. I do want to say something. You know what Boomer Esiason sent me a text? Oh, real quick. Here's that thing I promised you. Rob from the Robinson Foundation. Pretty nice, huh? They made, because it was 1997, they retired to 42. Yep. And Rachel sent that to me. Foundation made 22 of 1,997 of them. Pretty cool, huh? I've got so much shit that I've collected over the years. I mean, it's insanity. This is what I learned about the Dodgers and the Mets. Yale, you probably know. I love you too, C24. I'm not ripping you, brother. I didn't realize this until Rachel told me. You know why the Mets have the colors they have? It's Dodger blue and Giant orange. So when they had the Mets move to Queens or put them in Queens, they were hoping to get the Giant fans and the Dodger fans to go to Met games. I didn't know that until Rachel told me that that's why the Met colors are what they are. The Mets are Dodger blue, and it's Giant orange for when the Giants played at the Polo Grounds. Thank you for the Boomer comes on a lot. Hey, you know what? We need to try to get Boomer on again. You know what, Boomer? Hey, get this, JM. You know what Boomer said? So I got to start doing this. Boomer goes, what's up with this Reddick guy not being at OTAs? Did you kill him for not being at I go, well, he never got a chance not to be at OTAs with the Eagles. The Eagles moved him. He goes, what's up with this guy not being at OTAs here with the Jets? Was he a problem in Philly? I go, not that I heard. Guys, could it possibly be that Hassan Reddick was a problem in the locker room? That everybody, when Jalen Hurts said that everybody wasn't on the same page, that he was a problem in the locker room? I mean, could it be? Because now Boomer's like, what's up with this guy? Is it possible the reason they couldn't stand him, that they didn't get anything for him, that they didn't whatever, and because Howie likes Joe Douglas? Now, I'm just spitballing here. Okay, I don't know this. But we keep asking the question, but maybe we're coming at it from a different angle with this. Maybe he was an asshole in the locker room and the Eagles had had enough. Because I'll tell you something, his agent is doing the same shit he did in Philly that he's doing in New York, according to Boomer Esiason now. And you know what that is? Putting false intel out there. Remember how there was supposed to be this gigantic market between the Ravens and the Browns and the Cardinals for $25 million annually? And supposedly there was none of that when he was in Philly. There was no market. The Eagles never offered him a contract. And so Howie would just went, F it, I'm out, and moved him. That's why he didn't get anything in return until 3 drafts from now. Now it's 2 drafts from now. And Howie just wanted him out of the building. And because he's not talking shit on Reddick, it's because he likes Joe Douglas. Could that be? Well, there could be some truth to this now. Because Boomer's now doing this. This guy's agent's psychotic. He's out here saying that he wants a new deal at $25 million. He's doing the same shit he did in Philly. So Reddick needs to have a come to Jesus conversation about where his agent thinks he is right now in the landscape of getting a new contract. It sounds to me that Hassan Reddick's agent has misread the market. He's misread the market here. Stevens, because everyone keeps going, we would all say this, right? This is the stupidest move Howie Roseman has made in the last 5 years. And then maybe it just came down to, let's get him out of here. Let's just get him out of here. I don't want anybody holding out. I don't want to hear any shit about any money. Let's just sign this kid Huff. Give him a raise. Get him out of here. Let's get him out of here. He doesn't want to drop in coverage. He thinks he's worth $25 million. I don't want the headache. Is that possible? I could have swore I heard Reddick say he wanted to be an Eagle. He's got business things going on. He's a Temple guy, right? Played for Matt Rule and all that. Eagle fan goes like this. Sills, if Reddick wasn't an issue, he would have been re-signed. I'm starting to bite on this now. I'm starting to bite on it. Hey, Joe, could he have been an Alshon Jeffries in the locker room talking shit in that corners? Like Alshon Jeffries? Could he have been a guy like that? Because, you know, when you come from that place, and now you're hearing Boomer and Gio, the morning show on FAN, texting me and asking me, was this guy a problem in Philly? And I went, not to my knowledge. I mean, unless somebody else knows. I brought up the one point. Well, that's what the front office wants me to do. That was like after week 13 or some shit. Remember when he said that? It was an innocuous comment, but you were like, boy, that's odd. It's not like the coaches are asking me. That's what the front office wants me to do, is drop in coverage. I thought that was a bit snarky. Okay? But I had not heard him being a cancer or any kind of issue. I don't want to go cancer because I don't believe that. But could it have been a problem? And then his agent made it a bigger problem. Hey, man, agents can misread the room. What was one of the things that Mike Florio said about, I don't agree with shit, Ty. I said it could be. I said I'm more apt to open-minded, unlike you, on this. I didn't say it because I didn't hear him being a problem here. All I know is 27 sacks. He was exceptionally productive, and he's a better player than Huff. Get over that. You keep lying to yourself, trying to tell yourself that Huff's a better player. He's not. He's not a better player. He's the lesser player. I do not agree with you. I said maybe. Huff is not a better player than Hassan Reddick. Nowhere on his resume does that indicate it. Nowhere. Okay? Not a chance. Get this. We improved by trading for Reddick. How do you know that? Reddick had 11 sacks. He had 10, and he had a cast for the first month. This guy had 16 tackles. Reddick had 30. There's nowhere on his resume where he's done anything remotely close to what he's accomplished. And by the way, folks, let's do this. To show you how full of shit Ty is, there's not a chance in hell that Bryce Huff's going to give you 30 sacks in 2 years, counting the playoffs. Not a chance. Zero chance. He's not that good. Joe says ESPN has Reddick at number 7 in the league in pass rushers. Yeah. Come on, guy. I know you're an Eagle fan, but don't be a blinded one, as some of you are. Okay? Hey, Ty, how about Huff starting the game? That'd be nice. How about starting the game? That's right. He was in coverage. With the Brandon Graham bad coaching. The graveyard of malcontents. That's great. That's a great comment. So wait a minute. Look at what Senor says. Majority of the snaps on defense, too. I want to be right. Senor, are you saying Huff? Let's see what he did with the majority of the snaps last year. Is that what you're saying? Or are you saying that about Hassan Reddick? Bryce Huff stats 2023. Bryce Huff 2023 stats. So he had the majority of the snaps, you say. Okay. Bryce Huff 2023 stats. Let's see here. How many tackles did he have last year? With the majority of the snaps. Let's see here. He had 29 tackles with the majority of the snaps. 29 tackles. Hassan Reddick stats. Let's see here. Here's Reddick stats. since he's been in the league, 80 tackles, 76 tackles, 63 tackles, 68 tackles, 49 tackles, 38 tackles, 11 sacks, 16 sacks, 11 sacks, 12 and a half sacks. 1, 2, 3, 4. In the last 4 years, he's had 50 and a half sacks. 1, 2, and 4 years. This guy's had 50 sacks, and your guys had 14 in the last 4. Yeah, I'm sure he's better. I'm sure. Okay. All right. Let's reset here. We are, by the way, how close are we to 200? Where are we in that count list here? I want to get that count list up here because we're now here at, let's see here. We're here at around 518. Where are we now? On the hit list here at around 518. Show end. Okay, 175. Guys, thank you. 176. Very good. We're 24 away, guy. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. All right. 50 days until training camp. 91 days until September 6th. Let me ask you this, guys. Here's my takeaways from this week. And help me out here. How come your coach and quarterback aren't on the same page? And how come your quarterback refuses to endorse your coach? Why? Why doesn't your quarterback endorse your coach? Thank you, Paul. Hurts must want Nick gone. Hurts wants complete control with no accountability. Oh, man, JM, that's a big, because Jalen Hurts never liked or respected him. Hurts does not care if Nick gets fired. Hey, Senor, could it be that he knows Howie Roseman is the answer guy and he's the guy pulling all the strings? Let me ask you this, guys. Just to go here. Wait a minute. Do you think Dak Prescott, when it comes to his decision-making on what he's going to do for the coming year, do you think that Dak goes to Mike McCarthy, or does he take his marching orders from Jerry Jones? Do you think Howie undermines the coach's authority in the locker room because of all the say he has? How about this? You got a head football coach and you got your starting $250 million quarterback who hates Nick Sirianni. Hates him. It was a simple question. What's Nick's role? I don't know. Basically saying, I don't know why he's here. You find that to be a problem? When he was part of the whole issue last year? Sue goes, hate's a strong word. Okay. Well, Sue, it was like T-ball. It was teed up for him. It was a simple question. I think that's a big issue. Because you know what you have? You got a quarterback and a head coach not on the same page. If this guy's so great a coach, how come the quarterback hates his ass? How come we can't even say, hey, man, Nick's overseeing everything here. You know, he's a really good dude. really like the guy. You know, we have a lot of respect for him. None of that. Like, I don't know what his role is. I can't answer that. Those are exact words. Even the Philadelphia Inquirer is now running headlines. Nick Sirianni's in a very uncool position. Now you've got everybody asking it. What's up with the coach and the quarterback? Okay? If you're a mess off the field, how long till you're a disaster on the field? That's a great take, Mark. That's a great take. Sills, good leaders have diplomacy. Damn, JM. Great take. Diplomacy. Right. Get this. JM, Sirianni lies out loud. Jalen could do a little fudging on it too. Really like the guy, you know, just to make it so the Eagles are so concerned about their public look. Okay? They're so concerned about it. Okay? They are. They're so concerned about it. And yet you got a quarterback talking shit to the coach. Slagger, yeah, I agree with you. Hey, JM, man, you're on your A. And JM and I don't necessarily get along all the time. Nicely done, dude. And JM's right. Allen fell on the sword for her. Get this. Remember what happened when Ken Dorsey got fired? Hey, this is my fault. This is my responsibility. We didn't play well. I didn't play well. And Ken Dorsey being fired is my responsibility. And guess what? This is my call. I never heard Jalen say that about Brian Johnson either. I've never in a million years said that or heard that. And then second part of this is that it's a brand new offense. So now for the third year in a row, Jalen's getting a whole new offense. Josh Allen is going to get McDermott fired too. Hey, senor, does that mean that Hurts will get Sirianni fired too if he's fired? Or is that not on him? He's already got Brian Johnson fired. Or was that not his fault? Like I said, everyone else got a pay raise. I mean, or is that not Jalen's fault? Or once again, you guys walk around on your knees for two people, Howie and the quarterback. Okay? This is all from this week. And by the way, I love what he just said. Sills, you're too predictable now. That's because I'm right. Brandon Graham has even said I was right this week. Britton Covey calling me a liar when LJ is in here going, hey, you ran Brooks off. When Brooks and me were talking about a Discord with the coaches in the locker room and everybody wasn't connected. A lot of people went back and just looked at Britton Covey's and that soundbite from Barrett Brooks when he was on. Turns out Brandon Graham validated it. We had shitty coaches last year. All of you were wrong. When Barrett was on the program, threw him under the bus, big time, we were right. Get this. LJ just said I threw him under the bus, and I was right. We were right. We were right. There was shitty coaching in the building. Brandon Graham said it. So when they were attacking me on social media and Brandon Graham said it. Oh, I know. It's all good. Thank you, guys. By the way, real quick, where are we now on the likes list? Appreciate everybody coming aboard. Thank you guys so much. Oh, look at old good C24. He's hanging in there, man. He was supposed to be out of here 3 hours ago. Brother, I love you, man. Between you and LJ, I don't know who loves Big Sills more. Before I bring Philly Godfather in, Philly Godfather gets stalked a lot too. I love my stalkers too, C24 and LJ, man. These guys, they make me feel a little girlish. All right, man. I can't wait to get our boy in here, man. He's going to go nuts in here. Here we go. The legend. If you want to own your own yacht like Jeffrey Lurie, you listen to the Philly Godfather because he going to make you some money. By the way, he's crowing like a crazy man right now with all the money he's making, man, and all the things that are going around right now. Legend himself joins us here as he does each and every single Friday at 5:30 Eastern time. How you doing, brother?
Never been better, man. Woke up, I'm healthy, the family's healthy, my mom's healthy. That's all that matters, brother. And we got a couple bucks in the bank.
All I know is this. All I see is this. Cash and receipts. Cash and receipts. Cash and receipts. I saw that one you had the other day. That was dope, man. Good one on that one, too. What was that, like 22 grand or something you won?
Yeah. What's that to a giant? Small penny.
Absolutely love it. All right, let me get to some of the drama this week that we learned from the old Sirianni mandatory minicamps. What's your take that when asked the question what the role of the head coach was, Jalen Hurts comes out and says, I really don't know, and I can't answer that. It's June 7th.
Oh, my God.
And you have no idea what your coach is doing in the locker room. I mean, go.
It's pretty self-explanatory. When your quarterback, who's supposed to be a franchise quarterback, who's supposed to be an elite quarterback, who's supposed to be an MVP type of quarterback, comes out and says that about your coach, what kind of coach do you have? I mean, come on. You never heard Tom Brady say that about Bill Belichick. You don't hear that about Mahomes saying that about Andy Reid. I mean, what's going on here? I'm starting to lean with you. This Sirianni cat might be gone midway through the season. I don't know.
Even Josh Allen, when he got Dorsey fired, goes, this is my fault. I mean, I didn't play good enough. I didn't play well. I mean, this is my fault. Took accountability. It just seems that the quarterback and the GM don't take any accountability whatsoever when it comes to that meltdown. I think we know a little bit more now what happened this past season.
Yeah, we talked about it last year, and now as more revelations come out on a week-to-week basis, and there's still some stuff going on. You saw what CJ tweeted out the other day on Twitter. So there's a lot of infighting going on right now at the Eagles, Eagles training camp. So I'll be surprised how they look. I mean, their odds haven't moved at all to win the Super Bowl. There's still 8 teams ahead of them, but their odds did shift a little bit to win the NFC East. They're at plus 115, while the Cowboys are at plus 130. So it's going to be a very interesting season, man.
How about when Brandon Graham came out and said that we had coaches that were not in the right places a year ago, and both offensively and defensively, and Howie Roseman now he seems to think has fixed it. But yet, get this, Howie Roseman's the one that lit the place on fire by hiring those coordinators.
Yeah, I mean, we all knew those coordinators last year. You baptized them. What would you call them? Rent-a-coaches? That's what they were. That's such a great name for them. And you baptized them that. This year we got some serious coordinators. I mean, Fangio's serious. Kellen Moore, you've seen what he did with Dak and Dallas. But can they replicate, their success in Philadelphia? That's the big question. And like Vic Fangio said, you need the horses. Does he have the horses? I'm not sure.
What did you make of when Hurts came out and said that, we now know this has got nothing to do with Nick anymore going into 24, that this is a 95% brand new offense. I mean, So you're ripping up every single thing. And he was asked the question too, Godfather, do you like it? He goes, I'm too early to tell. I don't know. So not only has he not endorsed the head coach, but he hasn't endorsed even what they're doing. And they haven't even put the running game in yet.
I don't think he understands it yet. Like we talked about, last week and the week before, it takes some guys a little bit longer than others to really pick up on the system. So he might be confused right now. And that's why he hasn't looked so great. And like this could be, there's some growing pains here in the first 4 to 6 games. Hopefully by the 6th game of the season, he's picked it up and he knows like the back of his hand. And the Eagles are, kicking ass. But I don't think that's going to be the case. I think they're going to have some problems early.
Let's do a couple of these of these takeaways from the minicamp here. Hey, you've been bringing this up as a major point here. The Fletcher Cox and Jason Kelsey leadership role is going to be something to really keep an eye on. If you had to pick, who are you thinking has to take the baton from those two guys? Really, because I think there's going to be a massive void, and I'm not sure who's going to pick that baton up.
I mean, A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts, you expect guys like that to, jump in that leadership position. But the way Jalen alienated the locker room last season, that might not happen. Maybe Saquon Barkley comes over, new guy, an amazing talent. If he has if he starts off red hot, he could show some emotion. On the defensive side, CJ already started with his tweets. I mean, he's not here for people to like him. He's here to win. So, Lane Johnson, I mean, there's a lot of guys that could take over that spot, but who's willing to step up to the plate and deal with all that bullshit that goes on with being that leader, So we'll see.
I've been pretty impressed with Vic Fangio, and I think he's made that Miami Dolphin crew down there look a little softer. I mean, they've been communicating well. There seems to be a lot of guys who really want to be coached by the guy. If you come away with a positive with the minicamp here, there's no question Vic Fangio has coordinated the hell out of Kellen Moore this minicamp here, because the offense has struggled mightily just in the passing game. That's set up for you. But I've been impressed with it. So far, what you're hearing, your takeaways.
Yeah, I mean, all the guys on the defensive side are saying they love playing for Fangio, which is not what you heard last season with Miami. So that's a big plus. I mean, he's old school, and hopefully these guys buy into his system and his, the way he likes to play defense, because if you give him the horses, man, he's just as good as anyone else on the planet, Fangio, as a defensive coordinator, but he needs the horses.
How about Will Shipley getting playing time? You think he has a role on this team?
I mean, time's going to tell. He's going to have to really seize the moment and take advantage of this opportunity. But, I think he's going to progress and get better and better, especially under Fangio and all that. I think he's going to be all right.
I'm going to play a game with you on Hurts here. Okay? If you were going to put odds on who the MVP of the NFL was going to be, would it be Josh Allen or would it be Jalen Hurts?
Josh Allen. It's not even a question.
Okay. Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts.
Joe Burrow.
I'm not even going to – by the way, Mahomes is out of this conversation. Okay? He's out of the conversation.
Give me a tough one. Give me a tough one. I got to really think about it.
Okay. Let me give Matthew Stafford or Jalen Hurts.
I want to say, man, Stafford
could be a tough one.
You know what? I'll lean a little bit towards Jalen Hurts because of Stafford's age, because of his history with injuries. But I love Stafford, man. He's a
Me
warrior.
too.
Yeah, he's a warrior.
Purdy or Hurts?
Oh, Purdy. He's in that system, man.
Dak or Hurts? You hate Dak now because you dropped a brick on him. You got to take that out of the conversation here a little bit. Tell me, take that out of it. You dropped the brick on him. Okay.
In all honesty, the Cowboys made me a lot of money last year because, as you know, I had them to win the NFC East. I had them to go over 9.5 wins. I bet them plus 240 on the alternate line to go over 11.5 wins. But I had big money on them to get to the Super Bowl at 16-1. and he just choked in the playoffs, man. I would give the slight lean to Hurts this year.
Justin Herbert or Jalen Hurts?
New coach, new system. Justin Herbert, who's much better than Jalen Hurts. Justin Herbert, he's a much better quarterback. He's just so much better. I mean, everyone's got to be honest with themselves. Jalen Hurts gives you lots of ways to win, but he's not Joe Burrow. He's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not Justin Herbert. He's not one of those guys.
I'm going to give you two that you're going to know. Okay. CJ Stroud or Hurts?
CJ Stroud. I love that kid. What? The Texans got better odds to win the Super Bowl than the Eagles do right now, and they picked up more weapons. And I think their coach is better. I think their quarterback's better. Their defense might end up being better. Their offense might be just as good. That Texans team is extremely dangerous. Give me CJ Stroud.
Jordan Love.
Jordan Love.
So wait, I've gone through like 10 guys here, man. I mean,
what are you going to do? I'm being honest. You want me to sugarcoat it for the Philly fans?
No. Hey, how about this one? Jalen Daniels or Jalen Hurts?
I know, Jalen Hurts. And this year, I think Jalen's going to have a better year than Baker Mayfield. Let me at least give him that.
Oh my God!
Last year he didn't. Because
who has a better year, Derek Carr or Jalen Hurts?
No, Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. All right. Who has a better year, Kirk Cousins or Jalen Hurts?
That Falcons team's pretty good. Stats-wise, Kirk Cousins might have a better year.
No. We're not segmenting it.
Jalen Hurts will have more success, I think, than Kirk Cousins. I think Jalen Hurts will have more success, but stats-wise, Cousins' numbers might be a little better.
Of all the rookie quarterbacks, who do you think is going to have maybe a breakout year? Caleb Williams, Jalen Daniels, J.J. McCarthy, one of those guys?
Maybe JJ.
Okay.
The Bears are supposed to be better. Caleb Williams is expected. Who's that kid that Drake May?
Yeah.
I like
up in New England.
Yeah, I like him a lot. But I think JJ, he's got some weapons up there, and so does Caleb. So I think it's one of those two quarterbacks.
Who has a better year, Anthony Richardson or Jalen Hurts? With Shane Steichen.
I know. If he didn't get hurt that last year, I mean, they got a good team. Slight lean towards Jalen Hurts. Slight lean towards Jalen Hurts.
A very slight lean. We're a guy who played 4 games. All right, here. Hey, give me some baseball love here. Yankees and Dodgers this week.
It's a tough game, man. There's actually some sharp money on both sides. I didn't bet the game yet. Dodgers are laying 140. The way the Yankees are playing, man, I gave them out before the season started to win the whole thing. And Garrett Cole hasn't even come back yet. The way their pitchers have been performing, the way they're, I mean, Soto got banged up. So, you know what? Slight lean towards the Dodgers in the first game, minus 140.
Any of these teams knock down the Astros for the world title?
Yeah. Yankees, you got sleepers with the Kansas City Royals. You got the Mariners, a young team, but their bats, they can't seem to score a lot of runs, but their pitching has been lights out. Cleveland's up there. I think they're like at 15-1 to win the World Series. Baltimore, I mean, it's a solid team. They're going to be there at the end, but I think it's the Yankees season. And then on the other side, the Phillies are lights out. I mean, they got the third best odds to win the World Series right now, right behind the Dodgers, Yankees, and that's the Phillies. And they jumped up in front of the Braves. So the Phillies are going to be really dangerous. Obviously, the Dodgers, they're stacked, but they're still suspect to me. I think we're going to see a Phillies-Yankees World Series this year.
Holy cow, that would be insanity. Do they have enough in the bullpen, though, the Phillies?
Well, they can go out and get it. They can always go out and get it. And I'm expecting
best GM in the city.
Yeah, I'm expecting that. Yeah, I'm expecting that's exactly what they're going to do. And and then it's going to be, down the stretch we come. It's like a horse race. And at the end, it's probably going to be, the cream usually rises to the top after 162 games, playoffs. But you always got to watch out for that one team that gets hot at the end of the season and they sneak in, like Arizona last year, like, the Nationals from a few years back when they won 40 or 50 straight, some crazy number. But
always watch the Braves.
Yeah. I mean, the Braves are banged up, but Yankees, Phillies, that's what it's looking like.
What do you make a Judge as a ball player? I mean,
he's a monster. I mean, he's a great ball player. He looks like he's a good teammate. Everyone likes playing with him. It's positive energy.
Here's how I look at him as a Yankee. I look at him and I go, he's a little better version of Dave Winfield.
Dave Winfield is pretty good.
Yeah, Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I mean, that team's.
But he's no Reggie.
No, he's not. Reggie was a different type of ball player. Mr. October.
I don't think he's A-Rod.
No, A-Rod was amazing, but he's still pretty good. I mean, his production numbers, is he's up there. He's up there.
Okay, NBA. If the Mavericks do not win Game 2, is it over?
Nah. I mean, if it wasn't for
Who
that,
do you got the money on?
Well, I bet Dallas at the beginning of the year, back in April, actually, at 25-1 to win the whole thing. I got Luka at 20-1 to win the MVP. But if it wasn't for that first quarter last night when they got outscored by 17 points, the rest of the game, they kind of figured out the Celtics. And they only put up, 7 3-pointers? I mean, 7 for 27, whatever the number was, which, that's not going to happen again. And the difference was at the three-point line where, the Celtics put up 9 more three-pointers than Dallas. If you look at the rest of the box score, it's pretty even. Now the Celtics do have a good perimeter defense. I think they're second in the NBA in three-point defense. But if you watch the game, the Mavericks were missing a bunch of open shots. So it wasn't like the defense shut them down at the three-point line. And I expect them to bounce back. I think Game 2, they're getting 7.5, 7 points. I already bet them plus 7.5. I took them plus 7. No, it's far from over. I mean, if you look at the series line, Celtics open minus 220, and now they're minus 400. So that didn't jump up that high. So they're expecting a tight series here. And don't be surprised if Dallas comes back and wins Game 2.
I'll just tell you this. Porzingis is not going to look like that in Game 2.
No,
there's no way that guy looks like that in Game 2.
No, we talked about it before the series started. I said he's the X factor. And if he comes out, he's a tough matchup for the Mavericks. But he can't shoot lights out like that every game. You're going to regress back to the mean. You're going to go back to the norm. And, it was nice in that first quarter, but that you saw the rest of the, next 3 quarters. In the second half, Dallas actually outscored the Celtics. So it's going to be a fun series to watch.
I'll just say this to you. Avante Maddox or Kristaps Porzingis, which guy do you think doesn't get hurt when the wind blows? I'm not sure. One of those two guys, man. Both guys are built of balsa wood. So I'm not sure which one of these guys is going to make it. All right. My friend, tell the folks how they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Philly Godfather. My website's thephillygodfather.com. And Friday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern time every week on the best show in the world, Dan Sileo Show.
Thank you so much. And by the way, if you want to keep cash and receipts, there's your boy right there, man. I'm going to start calling him Philly Godfather Cash Money.
One more thing.
Yes.
I was always taught you want half the people to love you and half the people to hate you, but everyone to be talking about you. And that's what it is. I say,
hey,
Dan.
That's the story of my life, brother. Love you, man. Have a great weekend, dude.
You too, man. God bless.
You got it. All good. Come on now there. Look at Maniac. No one cares. I'm sorry, Sills. Love you, but he's Maniac. Holy cow. We're here to help. Hey, by the way, come on, Maniac. You've been here since day one. Big Sills loves you here. All right. Where are we in the like count? Here on this Friday, 50 days out from Hurts continuing to hate on Sirianni. Look at this guy, Maniac prick. We are 10 away. Thank you, Sue. Hit the like button. What a week it's been. Mike, thank you very much. What a week. We found out your quarterback can't stomach your coach. and everyone sucked according to Brandon Graham as a coach. Damn! Incredible. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
Hi, I'm Jim Muehlbronner, Managing Partner at Del Valle Insurance Group. Give us a call. We're a local, knowledgeable agency, not an 800 number. Go Birds!
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sales National Football Show. I'm trying to find that top 5 list of quarterbacks that CJ Stroud picked. And if your boy Hurts is on that list or not. Here it is. I just found it. Top 5 quarterbacks according to CJ Stroud. Number 1, Patrick Mahomes. Number 2, Lamar Jackson. Number 3, CJ Stroud. Number 4, Josh Allen. Number 5, Dak. Holy shit. Where's Wishbone? I don't see it. Here's Jeff. Rumor the NFL told the Eagles and the Packers they can't wear green because of gangs might have to travel in armored vehicles. Why go if that dangerous? Have you heard this? I have, Jeff, and thank you. By the way, 193 in likes. Thank you. 7 away. But I said this earlier too, Jeff. So let me get this right. Both teams are green, and one of the teams is named the Green Bay Packers. Okay, so you don't want them to wear green, but one of the teams is named the Green Bay Packers. Do you understand something about the NFL? The NFL doesn't give a shit what you tell them or what you think of them or what they're going to they have no caring. Okay? They have no caring. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me, right? You've got to be kidding me. Incredible. Holy cow. Don't worry, Sills. Belichick is going to handle this better next year. Sirianni firing is the only W I'm looking for. There you go, baby. Here's DFW. Jalen came to Dallas, and I will personally drive you to the Cowboy training facility so Dak can tutor you on Kellen's offense. Thank you, Flex, and 5 more likes. Big rhythm. Sills. Nick is Michael Scott. Teams have success regardless of his cringy behavior. Team has success. So you feel winning a silver medal or a bronze medal or getting killed by the Buccaneers is, well, acceptable. Okay. Wishbone ranch dressing. Wishbone hurts. Jalen can't run Kellen's offense. Agreed. He won't be able to. He can run Shane Steichen's offense. Yes. That's right. Correct. Great. Absolutely. Motion, no RPO, pocket passing does not equal Hurts, Mark. Correct. Absolutely correct. Couple more likes, guys. We're 6 minutes out from 200. Thank you so much there, Maniac. Okay? Hey, Yale. Rush live and real. That would have been cool. Seals, who do you think will be more successful? Mekhi Becton or Keely Ringo? My money's on Becton. My money will be on Becton. What if Jalen goes off script this year again and does what he wants and Kellen gets pissed? Nick Sirianni, according to Marcus Hayes, who was on Birds 365, you can listen to that interview, says that Nick Sirianni endorses insubordination. He embraces it and endorses it. Those are his words. Okay, those were his words. Bob, I'm with you. I think Becton is a player, but I think Keely Ringo has now thrown his name into the hat there where he's going to get a contract extension because I think Jeff Stoutland really likes him. Looks can be deceiving about Becton. Injuries you're talking, but I don't think anybody's ever really said anything about his ability at all whatsoever. I don't think anybody's really done that when it comes to that. Absolutely. I'll tell you what, we learned a lot this week. Thank you, Flexen. 3 more likes, guys. 3 more away. Thank you so much. Becton is a huge dude. I'd like to see Jordan D challenge. Holy cow. Can you imagine those two guys? And not only that, but having Jalen Carter going against him as well. Dude, they got a lot of great battles. But see, one thing that the Eagles don't do in training camp, they don't do, but those controlled scrimmages with other people. Like with the Patriots. I think they got one lined up with the Patriots, and I think they're working one with the Rams as well. 2 more likes, guys. Appreciate you guys have been great all week long. Insane great. And we can't thank you enough. Thank you very much for that. So, again, just to kind of capsulate it here on a week, this is what we learned. Let's start with the good. Okay? I'm more encouraged about the defensive side of the football. With the communication in what we heard, secondary guys look like they're picking it up. The players are communicating. They like it. I totally love it, man. It's good stuff. On the other side, you got more. Can I tell you why you have more conversations about the offense? Because Nick's still involved with it. That's why. Thank you, Flexin. Thank you, brother. Because Nick's still there. That's why. You found out the coach and you found out that the coach and the quarterback are still having issues. You found out that the quarterback is not sure he likes the offense. It's a brand new offense. We found out Brandon Graham, okay, said that there was problem with coaching. Xander's like, what's, should I even say it? No, I'm not gonna. Okay, I'm not gonna. So you think Becton can be as good as some Seumalo? Hey, did you see Pro Football Focus had Isaac Seumalo ranked ahead of Landon Dickerson? It's crazy. I don't think that. 2/3 of you cap is tied to your offense. Jalen can't run. He can't run it. Laurie is going to feel like he is burning money. Correct. I think they're burning money now. Seals, I mean it like somehow still got wins in a Super Bowl with that cringy behavior. It just feels like a sitcom. Dude, Big Rhythm. There's too many there's too many roosters in the hen house, it seems. You know what I'm saying? There's just too many roosters in the hen house here. Yeah, PFF, that's not the Bible, okay? That's not the Bible. What's with Lori selling a minority stake in the team? Looking for more investors. You know, raise the value of the team, get more banks involved with the team. I don't think it's a big deal. I don't. Okay. So it's going to be interesting. Once again, let's see here. 91 days. I miss Seumalo too. Great player. 91 days until September 6th. Don't wear green. And 50 days until the start of training camp. Incredible. All right. I want to thank each and every single one of you. By the way, what was the like total? What did we get to at the end of the day here? What was the like total? What did we end up with, guys, here on this Friday? Great week, too, by the way. Thank you guys so much. You guys were great all week long here. What did we end up with here when it comes to the like total? 203. Fantastic. You guys were fantastic. Thank you guys again. Have a great weekend. Next week, we'll start breaking it down more and we'll start taking a look. Thank you, Yale. Really appreciate it. All of you that came in here and each and every single day, thank you so much. Fabulous stuff as always. Have a great weekend. We'll catch you Monday going 2 to 6. Xander and Joe, we thank you, and we'll see you on the flip side.